Okay, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to something completely different. I've never done this before, but I'm going to see how this goes. So I'm going to be playing on PC and recording at the same time, natively, at 1080p resolution. And I'm going to be checking out a mod for Angels with Scaly Wings. So why am I doing this? Well, first off, because the mod that I'm going to be playing is absolutely incredible. And in my opinion, it easily could just be its own like DLC, like official downloadable content for this game. It's that good. It's called A Solitary Mind. So I'm going to be doing a little playthrough of this, and basically this is also kind of like a test to just see how this goes. So if this goes smoothly, that will mean that even if I want to play this on this computer next year, I can easily play several PC titles that I'm planning on doing a playthrough of next year, including but not limited to Golden Treasure, a Great Green, I believe it's called, Dragon Spirits, and a Mystery of Caketropolis. So these are several like playthroughs I'm planning on doing next year in celebration of the Year of the Dragon. I've heard that Golden Treasure, a Great Green is a really amazing indie game, so I want to check that out next year for sure. So we'll see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. Just hit play, so hopefully it'll just boot right up here and won't have any issues, I hope. It's my first time kind of testing this, so yeah, there we go. All right. I mean, I would hope it would run good, right? This game even runs on the fucking Switch. I mean, I know it runs good on here. I just don't know if I can record it at the same time at a high resolution. So we're gonna find out. I mean, yes, I am planning on getting a new computer soon, but and of course I have the sound running through my sound bar because laptop speakers are garbage. But so anyway, yeah, you'll notice right off the bat several differences with the PC version. First off, yeah, I've already done like an initial playthrough of A Solitary Mind just to experience it for myself, and I got the worst possible ending for it. So, because I wasn't like trying to do anything else, so it was just going through Naomi's scenes. So yeah, you'll notice that first off, at the upper right corner of the screen, anytime there's a new song that plays, it'll actually display the name of the song. So that's really cool. Also, we got several mods here, and you can add more right from the workshop, the Steam Workshop. It's integrated directly into the game, so that's really, really cool. And yeah, you got a list of music here, so that's really sweet. Definitely some notable improvements from the console version. Can't do any of that on the console version, so continue your journey, Prince. Alright, well, here we go. And so this time I'm going to be following a guide, and I'm curious to see if this is going to go any different if I do Naomi's encounters perfectly. Alright. See if I can remember this. So I believe it's Control. Yes, Control skips ahead. Okay. And yes, I am using a Xbox controller as well. I'm not going to skip this. But we are going to skip most of the dialogue that we've already read through. Okay, so you'll notice right off the bat. Now, I noticed this too when I first downloaded the mod. The building here looks completely different. It's actually more detailed. I noticed something was off. I'm like, when I was going through this, I'm like, wait a minute. The building looks different. And I looked at my old footage on my playthrough. I'm like, it is different. So, yeah, they actually completely redrew this whole scene here. So, that's how you know the mod's working. As soon as you get to this point and you see the building's different, that means your mod's working just fine. Doesn't really matter what we say here, we just want to skip ahead. Okay, so Raza takes off. Alright, now this is where things go differently, right here. Okay, you see that? As I was passing through one of many long corridors by a long line of tall windows, my attention had been solely focused on a group of dragons sorting and stacking metallic crates in the inner yard. My observations, however, were suddenly interrupted. Before I knew it, I was knocked down onto the hard floor by something large. It happened so fast, my mind didn't even have time to fully register the fall, much less get scared. When I turned my head to see the obstacle I'd run into, I found a large blue dragon towering over me. I'm so in trouble. Are you alright? I'm sorry I didn't notice you. I must have zoned out and lost track of my surroundings. She reached out her hand to me. I've noticed thin, colorful membranes between her fingers, similar to the ones on her frills and crest. Let me help. It's alright. Don't worry, it happens to everyone. I should have been paying attention to where I was going instead of staring out the window. Grabbed her hand, and she effortlessly pulled me back onto my feet. Thanks. Thank you too for not making it an issue. I was just thinking over some things and got completely carried away. Normally people don't use this corridor much, and I didn't expect to meet anyone. My name is Naomi. I work at the local police station. I'm Prince. I read the reports about you this morning. They've assigned Sebastian to look after you during the visit, right? Yeah. Then you're in good hands. Glad to hear it, though I hope I won't need the extra security. You can't be too careful in cases like these. It's always better to be safe than sorry. Don't get me wrong, we live in a quiet town, and it's unlikely for anything to happen at all, but you know. A fair point. Though I really like this place so far, it feels nice and peaceful. We are doing our best to keep it that way. If you don't mind me asking, what brought you to the production facility? I'd assume ambassador duties would mostly revolve around meeting with other politicians. No big secrets here. I was delivering the PDAs your council had requested as part of the deal between our peoples. I see. Hopefully this is only the beginning of our cooperation. Yeah, a lot of hard work ahead, but I'm up for the challenge. Looks like we both have our responsibilities to deal with. Speaking of which, I deeply apologize, but I must return to my duties. Anna is waiting with some data our department needs, and she won't be happy about me being late. Anna, I was just talking to her a minute ago. She seemed rather friendly. Oh, she's a little different most of the time. How so? I'd love to chat, but right now I have too many assignments on my hands. I understand, same for me. We could continue this conversation later if you'd like. I'm not sure I'll have the time, but we could try. Here's my number then. Give me a call when you get a free moment. Alright. Take care. Bye. So that's all that happens in this, so we're going to go ahead and skip ahead with character selection. Okay, now we're going to meet with Naomi. I passed the entry checkpoint and settled on the bench in front of a wide staircase. For a while, I watched members of police staff walking by, most of them going home after a long day of work. Naomi wasn't among them. Soon, the flow of dragons ended, leaving me almost completely alone, save for the entrance guard stationed at the other end of a long corridor. My patience slowly started to wear thin. After several long minutes of boredom, I considered leaving, or at least trying to find Naomi's office. So, here's where the choices start to matter here. So, someone is crazy enough to dissect every little bit of which dialogue option does what for the character, and they put a +1 for the mood, a -1, or a -0, or a +0. So for this one, you get a +1 for keep waiting. This first time around, I hit search for her office. We're gonna keep waiting. She told me to wait here, so it's probably best not to barge in uninvited. Eventually, my patience was rewarded when I spotted her hastily making her way downstairs. Evening. Hey. Thanks for waiting. I had some last-second changes to make before submitting the reports. No, we don't want to skip ahead. New details and evidence to take into account? Not really. It's a bit of a long story, and I doubt you'd find it interesting. Let's say the real culprits were paperwork, new untested standards, and a lack of proper organization from some people. You're also working on the latest case, I assume. Yes, I'm part of Bryce's team. However, those documents were related to another incident we've solved recently, and the court needed them by tomorrow morning. They seem to be in a huge rush. That's understandable, really. We have a big holiday event coming up soon, and they want to finish the processing before that. Especially considering the suspect would have to remain in custody until the trial is over. But even in the worst case scenario, they aren't going to face more than a fine and about a 2-year suspended sentence. Quite lenient of the court. The offender is a single mother of 2 who already signed a confession. She didn't steal because of having a good life, and everybody understands that, including the shop owner. They made peace, and he agreed to cover the fines and other legal expenses for her. But laws are laws, and a trial must be completed. The least we can do is make sure she gets to spend holidays with her kids instead of the detention facility. So you had to gather and submit the documents as fast as possible. Sounds like you have a lot of busy work for a good cause, but still. Most of my occupation here is busy work, unless I'm assigned to be the flyer on duty on some rare occasions, or if we actually get a puzzling case to solve. Oh well, don't let me bring down your mood with the boring or sad aspects of my work. Anything you'd like to do? Alright, let's say, let's just hang out is a +1 on the mood, so let's go with that. I want to see if it changes the ending if I get a perfect playthrough with her. Yeah, I'm a little too tired for anything more engaging, and I'm afraid I'd fall asleep if we went to something like the cinema. I know a nice cafe nearby, decent food and atmosphere, and the prices aren't too bad. Let's go there then. Ah, nice. Just as usual at this hour, almost no customers, and we're free to pick any spot. How about that one next to the window? I think the 2 dragons there are leaving. Good choice. This place was a good choice. Oh, hello. Well, this is a surprise. Hey. We exchanged brief greetings. We'd stay and chat with the famous human and their companion, but it feels like our story is to continue elsewhere. It was a pleasure to be a small part of yours, though. Have a nice evening. I can't tell if they were being considerate or just eccentric. I suppose it doesn't matter either way. Naomi seemed to smile in agreement. She and I took the vacant spots. Naomi chose to sit on the floor and pushed her chair out of the way. Our position gave us a fine view of the quiet, clean, and mostly deserted street outside. Trees provided some much welcome shade from the hot sun that was slowly leaning towards the horizon. Are you a frequent visitor? I go there almost daily after my shifts. I see. Normally I cook at home, tastes better, and you aren't dependent on what's available on the menu on any given day. You can make whatever you want. After a long day of work, grocery shopping followed by cooking would simply kill me. On the other hand, dinner in a quiet cafe might be exactly what I need to cool down and get my thoughts in order. Occasionally, I even treat myself to a guilty treat. You should look after yourself. Being overworked and stressed can do a number on you in the long run. Thanks for the concern, but it's not that bad, save for a few minor things. Like what? Can't sleep well some nights, especially during important cases, but then on another day I might get drowsy in the afternoon for no apparent reason. My office even has a couch I use to take a short nap every now and then. Makes me feel lazy and guilty, but I can't help it. Besides, I often stay at work way past the normal shift times, and it's better to lose an hour to rest than to mess up a day's worth of documents or an analyst because of a foggy, tired mind. Doesn't Bryce mind you sleeping on the job? He knows he can count on my skills, and I'm rarely late to submit my reports and assessments. He's well aware of how much overtime I do, and even suggested I take it easy, much like you. But I just can't leave stuff unfinished and walk out once I'm off the clock. It doesn't sit right with me. Staying late is an obligation, so I don't think you'd get penalized or fired for it. Guess so. For me, it's more of a personal thing, pretty hard to explain in words. Mostly, it's about self-respect, about doing my best to make this world a better place, given the limited opportunities. So you're proving your worth this way. Mostly to myself, because nobody else ever questioned it, really. But enough about that, I'm starving to be honest. With all the paperwork due tomorrow, I didn't get a lunch break. Had to start my shift earlier, too. To make things worse, when I submitted those documents, their legal department rejected them because some of the forms I used were outdated. Alright, you should be more careful. I pay enough attention to my work. They didn't send us those new forms yet because of some bureaucratic mishap. Oh shit, I hit the wrong one. That was a -1. I should have hit. Why didn't you have the new ones? Whoops. Oh well. It said that the mood actually resets on every chapter, so oh well. They apologized, of course, once the situation had been cleared, but once again, you notice by her expression changing, you can tell if she's like pissed off about what you said or not. So that's, yet again, just like with all the other characters, Naomi's the same way. You can tell, I knew that just by the way she looked at me that like I must have fucked up, and I did. But oh well, I just like that. I like that little subtle touch that they use with the animations where you can actually tell how the character reacts, just by the character reacting, if what you said made them happy or upset. But anyway. They apologized, of course, once the situation had been cleared, but I only briefly managed to finish my tasks, and still ended up keeping you waiting. You've had a long day. Yeah. Hello, Prince and Naomi. Nice to see you again. How are you doing? Hey, I'm alright. Hello, Adine. Tired as usual. You've got a companion today, and not just anyone, but a human. Don't think too much of it. We're just having a friendly meeting. Alright. What can I bring you to? I'll take the largest today's special, some fries, a glass of juice, and a bread basket for myself and Prince. Dreadful memories of my recent visit suddenly filled my mind. Yeah, I ordered the daily special in my playthrough. Because you get an achievement for doing it, so why not? Naomi, are you sure it's wise to pick the special? Of course, the fish is delicious. You should give it a try too. I gulped nervously. Prince already did earlier. It didn't go well. Oh, so that's why you're greener than usual. I apologize for bringing up an unpleasant experience. Adine, could you please replace the special with some chicken with hot sauce? Sure. What would you like, Prince? Okay, so as hilarious as this is, she likes it if you pick chicken with hot sauce. But nothing else, anything else, and she just doesn't care. In my original playthrough, I picked the salad, because I literally, the night that I was playing this, I ate a salad for dinner, so I'm like, I'll go with the salad. So, okay, chicken with hot sauce, because she likes that. I see we have similar tastes. Sounds delicious, and I trust your choice. Anything for a side dish? So yes. Fried algae, she likes it if you pick that. Or you can pick the fries. Either one, she likes that. We'll go with the fried algae. Are you sure you're not trying too hard to make me like you? We barely know each other. What are you talking about? Don't be silly. I'm a sea dragon, and you specifically chose an aquatic food. I just like seafood. Today's special would disagree. Fine, you got me there. What about drinks? See if there's anything she doesn't like. Oh, interesting. So if you pick the cocktail, she doesn't like that. It says, Naomi questions you for choosing an alcoholic beverage because of Bryce's alcoholism. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Also, if you pick the beer, same outcome. So yeah, don't pick that. I believe I went with a juice in my first playthrough, so I'll go with the coffee this time. Alright, I'll be right back. What sort of work do you normally do? I'm the analyst. Every bit of information you guys found landed on my desk, and from there I've tried to connect the facts and events into a single coherent picture. This also means I mostly spend time in my office, day after day. It explains why I haven't seen you on the crime scene. I don't go there most of the time. Photos and reports usually suffice for me. With how much paperwork my duties involve, I don't really have the time to spare. Alright, so we should say you're doing important work. Thank you. Sadly, that doesn't make it any more interesting, but at least I'm as useful as I can be. Here's your order. Enjoy. Thanks. Thank you, Adine. Naomi happily proceeded to dive right into her food. Chunks of meat and fries quickly disappeared inside her maw, sometimes making me wonder if she forgot to chew. I chose to keep quiet and concentrated on my own chicken. Soon her plate was almost completely clean, and she leaned back with a content sigh before taking a long sip of juice. My portion was almost finished as well. Alright, so... yeah, unsurprisingly, saying the way you eat is just gross is a -1. You must have been really starving is a +0, and feeling better now is a +1. So we're gonna go with that. Much better. A long day of paperwork does wonders to one's appetite. You bet. You miss your lunch breaks often? It happens sometimes, especially during bigger cases with a lot of information and evidence to process. However, I like my job regardless of its drawbacks. Behind the report, writing, data analysis, and other busy work, there are people whose lives are much safer thanks to my efforts. If only it were less stressful. The price you have to pay so that others don't have to. Exactly what I tell myself before going to sleep almost every night. If your current job becomes too much, you could always try some other places as well. Actually, I have a university degree in finance, but I never felt like it was a field fitting to me. It's monotonous, boring, and I didn't feel like I was doing anything meaningful for anyone there. Maybe you should have studied something else instead if you didn't like that profession. I'd have gladly done so, but my family forced me into learning economics. Can't blame them though. They're a rich, respectable couple who want their daughter to follow in their footsteps and take over the business once they eventually retire. Okay, so saying what jerks is a -1. So either other one. It's understandable is actually a +1. I went with this the first time around. They shouldn't have pushed for a career choice you didn't like, but that's a +0. So we're gonna go with it's understandable. I always told myself the same. They're nice people, and they always wanted the best for me. Maybe they just got carried away with their desire to set my life right, forgot to ask what I wanted. Come to think about it, if you forget about hopes, dreams, and feelings for a moment, and instead look at things pragmatically, they're completely right, too. No job in this town would pay even a tenth of what their company brings in profits. With such money, I'd have no problem supporting my kids, husband, his family, my family, and probably many more. So they secured your future from very early years. Quite commendable. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd make a good leader when I'm older, but I'm sure going to do my best. Until then, you're stuck with nothing to do, though. They actually told me to do whatever and enjoy my youth while I can. Something about the balance of money, time, and energy in life. Father suggested I start looking for a decent and fair person to become my future companion. Speaking of future companions, you can actually romance her as well, but there's a particular way you have to go about it, as I'm learning from this guide. I read a little bit of it just before I started recording, but anyway. His words, not mine. And for me to keep our wealth a secret to fend off leeches and seekers of easy profits. You already blew your cover with me, though. Could you keep it a secret? Sure, if the price is right. She was not amused by that. I'm just kidding. Of course I won't tell anyone. You got me there for a moment. So, am I correct in guessing that you wouldn't consider me a candidate because I'm a human? Hypothetically speaking, of course. You? Naomi seemed to pause to ponder for a moment. I think you're right, to be honest. Please don't take it wrong. I also didn't think you'd be interested in forming such relationships outside your own species. Alright, so originally I went with my mind isn't made up yet, so let's see what she likes to hear. Actually, that was the right one to go with. Yep, my mind isn't made up yet. +1. I might just be as a +0, and I'd rather not as a -1. Okay, so we're gonna go with that. My mind isn't made up yet. We are both sentient living beings, after all. That does make you think. I guess we'll see. Anyway, my parents recently moved their business to the big city, and I stayed back here on my own. Of course, we haven't completely parted ways, and often organize family reunions of the sort. It's pretty fun. They also send me money every month, even though I make enough on my own. Probably so that your livelihood doesn't depend purely on your job. Yeah, though I'd say the number they transfer goes quite far beyond simple sustenance. Perhaps they want me to indulge in some luxuries, but I never had a taste for the expensive stuff. Either way, I'm glad you've kept good relations with them. And how is your family, Prince? I'd rather not talk about it. Oh, it's alright. I guess I should consider myself lucky. Do you have anyone back home? If it's not a secret, of course. Can't say I do. Must be pretty lonely. Okay, so... Wow, you can be a real dick and go with, how about you don't poke your nose where it doesn't belong? So if you pick this, it says, this get-together is concluded. Naomi's status is bad. Why would you be so rude? Yeah, that is... I'm not surprised. That's beyond even a -2. That's just like... Yeah, her status is just bad. Wow. So you can either pick... So why do you care is a -1. Yeah, what do you care? That's -1. So either one of these is a +1. We'll go with... I've learned to live with it, so I'm alright. No, actually, you know what? We're gonna go with it really is. I want to see how she responds to that. I think I originally picked I've learned to live with it, so I'm alright, but we're gonna go with this one this time. It'll get better eventually, one way or another, trust me. One can dream. Never lose hope. Oh shit, she smiled at us. That's a good sign. In the end, it's all up to you, of course. Isn't it what everything in life boils down to? Naturally. She glanced out the window. Let's go for a walk. We should have some time before the sunset, and I could certainly use my share of fresh air. Besides, Bryce has given me the permission to take over Sebastian's duties for the evening, so I'll be your escort for a time. What I mean to say with escort is... Okay, okay, this is interesting. So if you pick... I didn't expect the local police to provide those kinds of services. That's a mood -2. And the comment says, what is wrong with you? So the only one that gives you a +1 is, I'd be happy to have you escort me. I want Sebastian back as a mood -1. And I said that jokingly in my first playthrough, but she doesn't like that. She doesn't like you saying that. So we're gonna go with, I'd be happy to have you escort me. Phew. That's good to hear. She is a very pretty dragon, though. It's like God used every crayon in the box to make her. Because she is a very colorful dragon. Did you arrange it to spend more time with me? Not really. I just thought that since we'd be hanging out together, there'd be no need to keep Sab stationed on security duty as well. One officer is enough. Bryce agreed with my suggestion, so here we are now. Alright. Naomi unfolded her wing and lifted it in the air when she saw Adine pass our table on her way back to the counter. Adine, could you please bring us the bill? One moment! She hurried off towards the register and soon returned holding a piece of paper between her wing claws. Okay, so it says, here's your tab. Can I take away the dishes? Of course. Alright, so the only thing that really actually matters is if you say, I'll close the tab, that's a +1. So she likes your generosity there. The other two are a +0, so we'll go with, I'll close the tab. And yeah, that's what I went with in my original playthrough of this, and I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, I'm an ambassador, so I don't have to pay for it, so put it on humanity's tab. And yeah, she even points that out. How noble of you to spend council money on me, but there's no need. I'll pay for our dinner. Right, I forgot, this isn't my card. Yeah, easy to spend money when it's not your card, right? I found that rather amusing, though. I appreciate the sentiment, though. Here you go. It's for both of us, and a tip. Thank you for visiting us. I hope you enjoyed your evening. you have any specific places in mind we could visit? There's a new park nearby, but it's probably pretty crowded right now. We can still go if you want. I'm just worried about getting a lot of unwanted attention. I'd rather not deal with that. I was thinking the same. We can always take a scenic route around the town in your apartment. It doesn't offer much to see, but it'll take a while. Normally, I'd expect my companion to walk me home, but you're a human and a VIP, and I'm the one with the wings, so it wouldn't have been very fair for me to ask such things of you. Okay, so you signed up to protect me, so please follow your duties as a -1. Is this an implication of a date? That's a +0, and I wouldn't mind doing that for you as a +1. So we're gonna go with that. Thanks for the offer, but I was only joking. First and foremost, I must make sure you are safe, Prince. With someone nearby, it feels so different from going on my own. Don't you have friends or somebody special to hang out with? Asking such personal questions during our first meeting, aren't you? Sadly, I don't. The guys at the department are nice, but we finish at different hours, and they have their own hobbies and routines. Bryce goes drinking, Seb is more of an indoor person, and Mav is just Mav. I know what you mean. He's pretty hostile. No, not to me at least, but he's a loner and doesn't care for any sort of company. By the way, I gotta say, the music is fantastic for this mod too. Like I said, this could have easily passed for a genuine character DLC. It really, this is just an amazing work by whoever did this mod. Anyway, she continues on. At the end of the day, we're doing alright at work, but outside of it, we rarely meet up, except for a few occasions. You couldn't be completely alone all these years, right? Of course not. When I was younger, during the university days, I had other students to hang out with, and a couple of them were quite interested in getting to know me better. I turned them down, however. The guys in question had quite a reputation already, and with that in mind, their only goals were likely my bed and my bank account, not sure in what order. I might look friendly and a little naive, but I'm not a fool after all. I'm surprised nobody else tried to approach you. So was I. Though, I found out much later why when I had a chat with one of my former colleagues. Everyone thought that I already had someone because of how reluctant I was to communicate with others. They never asked me about it because they respected my privacy. And I was just shy, withdrawn, and awkward because I was in the middle of a big gathering of people for several hours a day, which stressed me out. It doesn't matter now, I guess. I still made some great friends at university, and we spent many evenings hanging out with even post-graduation. But just like everything else in this world, it eventually came to an end. Some started families, others moved out or simply disappeared without a notice. Suddenly one day, I found myself walking these evening streets alone. I was an officer for about a year by then. Alright, so the only one that gives you a +1 is things change and there's nothing we can do. That's true. They have their lives to take care of, and I have responsibilities of my own. Like protecting an ambassador from another world who's also a mythical human. Never followed the humans are gods mentality, but my job has its perks, indeed. And who knows, maybe you'll meet your colleagues again someday, like I certainly didn't expect to run into Raza, for example. We never became close friends in the past, but on this mission, we were working together for the good of humanity. Till everything went south. So you're supposed to say his case might be a lot more complex. There's more to it than meets the eye at first. More panic doesn't explain the need for secrecy. Do you think there's a huge behind-the-scenes game going on? I can't say for certain. Either way, what I was trying to say is that you shouldn't consider your friends gone permanently just because they've moved on with their lives. You have a point, I guess. But it doesn't feel right for me to barge into their homes like a restless ghost of the past and toast for attention simply because we used to study and hang out together years ago. You have a phone, but not their numbers. Besides, they're like completely different people now. I'd rather remember them as they were back then, young, hopeful, and happy. Maybe they'll remember me this way as well while years pass by. I'm not sure what to reply to that. I was rambling again. It's fine. You know, I've always liked this part of town. It's a little far from the sea, but it's a lot quieter compared to the more densely populated areas like the one I live in. Feels more like outskirts to me. I can see the portal from my window, and behind it is complete wilderness. Wonderful, isn't it? I guess, in a way. And when you have wings like me, distances just aren't that big of a deal. Grocery shopping or visiting the seaside would only take a few minutes more. Speaking of which, I don't want to sound odd or rude, but why does a sea dragon, as yourself, have wings? Shouldn't you be more aquatic? Oh, but I'm perfectly aquatic. I can hold my breath for over 20 minutes. The frills on my limbs and the membranes between my fingers are perfect for swimming. And instead of a fire breath like most, I can spit acidic venom that works underwater. And what about your wings? Waterbound birds have them too. You aren't questioning them about their flight, are you? After all, I'm not a sea serpent or a crocodile. Touché. I'm not as good as flyers are, of course, but it's a fair trade-off for versatility and strength. However, dragons like Lorem are probably luckier, though. They are smaller, more agile, and have nimble hands, which I honestly envy a little. Wait, you know him? Not personally. I've seen his little project on the network. Looks pretty fun. You should ask him directly if you're curious. Suddenly, a voice called out to us. Good day, you must be the human ambassador people are talking about. I was afraid this would happen. Just remain calm. We turned around to face the source and found a dragon next to a stall covered in stacks of assorted pictures. Name's Hardrin, and I couldn't pass up the chance to meet an actual real human. Please don't pester our guests. Of course, could I just get an autograph, please, on this paper sheet? No harm in that, I guess. Thanks, I was sorting my prints and drawings for sale for the upcoming festival. What sort of pictures are you creating? Mostly related to games or history. My drawings of characters from My Tiny Mafloon seem to have been the most popular, though. The cartoon? No wonder, considering the amount of fans it has. I'm not one of them, though. Want to buy anything? I'll give you two a discount. I'm alright. Naomi studied the provided assortment and soon landed her index digit claw in one of the drawings. Maybe this one. Yeah, I'm gonna take it. Here you are. Thanks again. Have a nice day. Bye. It wasn't too bad. The picture is nice, too. Let's hurry up before we attract more attention, though. I think your apartment should be nearby. I don't remember the address, unfortunately. We are already next to it. Oh, right. And this would be the end of my shift and our get-together, then. Thank you for the wonderful evening, Prince. I hope we can do this again soon. I'm sorry if I heaped too many of my personal problems on you at once. I don't know why, but it felt easier for me to open up to you somehow. It's alright, I enjoyed my time as well. I'm glad. Maybe if I invite you over to my place next time, I'll do my best to free up a little earlier, and we can hang out again. Sounds good. I'll give you a call once I get an opportunity. Good night, Prince. Good night. Alright, well that went really well. When I approached the door to my apartment, I glanced back at Naomi for a minute. She smiled at me one last time and waved her unfolded wing. Then she lowered herself towards the ground and took off in a single sharp jump, leaving furrows on the soft dirt. Somehow I didn't doubt for one moment I'd hear from her again soon. Wow, that went really well. So that definitely went better than the first time I did it. Because the first time I did it, I don't remember her even saying, like, you know, smiling and waving bye. She just took off. Also, out of curiosity, on this playthrough that I did on my Steam account, I purposefully let Bryce die, but I had the opportunity to save him, and something interesting that I noticed, I actually originally, like, saved him as I normally do. I only met up with him, like, one time. I went drinking with him, right? But I let him, I saved him, and I was curious. I'm like, you know what, let me go back. So I went back, I rewound time or whatever, and I chose not to save him. I let him go in first, knowing what would happen, just out of curiosity. And, you know, I was curious to see how the characters would react and whatnot. So, nothing too drastic changed, other than it sucked being that, you know, you kind of let him die Sebastian just had a few words to say. I was really curious how Maverick would have reacted, but I didn't get a reaction out of him. At least not that I was aware of. I don't know how he reacted to it. So it was just really interesting. So then I tried to go back again after I let him die, and the game wouldn't let me, which was really strange. The picture would like glitch out, and then it would say error, and it says, you know, you cannot alter the timeline. You know, it says, you know, be sure about your choices, and it came up with some weird message that I had never seen before, basically stating that no, you can't do this. And then it continued with the timeline of as if you let Bryce die. And even without saving the game, because I had a save point right before I made my decision, I completely closed the game, I closed Steam, I reopened Steam, reopened my save file, and it still wouldn't let me make that choice. I don't know how the hell it knew that I had let Bryce die, because I didn't save it afterwards. But somehow the game knew. Like, it like alters your profile in a way to where you just can't go back once you let him die. Which was very, very interesting to me. I don't know how exactly they made that recognize that you let him die like that, but it's just kind of weird. So anyway, we can just go ahead and... Well, we probably have to meet with Bryce once, maybe? Because there... So, with this mod, with Naomi's endings, basically, a couple of the things that can alter it is if either Sebastian or Bryce dies. But we know that Sebastian's probably going to die, right? Because he always dies except for the true ending. So, yeah. I'm not entirely sure how the storyline will get altered in Naomi's mod here. We're just gonna get some rest. We're just gonna see what happens. I just want to go for the romance with Naomi, because in my first playthrough, oh, I got an achievement. Decided not to meet anyone or investigate 10 times. Well, there you go. What was I saying? In my first playthrough of this mod, I just remained friends with Naomi. So I didn't do anything too crazy. And like I said, I got the worst ending. So I'm just curious if you kind of romance her, if that ending will change. And I'm really not sure. So that's what I'm going through. Looks like you've seen this before. Skip to the scene selection. Yes. Let's go to the next meetup. We have to do this, huh? Yeah. Not sure if I did this yet, so we're gonna go through all this just because you get an achievement for doing so. Okay, I guess I already did that. Alright. Go ahead and leave. And we'll just get some more well-deserved rest because we're lazy. Alright, now we can meet with Naomi again. Use the skip function 10 times, you skipper. So easy to get achievements in this game. Hello, Sebastian. Goodbye, Sebastian. It's a lot quicker to skip on PC. Meet with Naomi. Naomi has a very nice apartment. Wow. Hey, Prince, it's nice to see you again. Hi, Naomi. Likewise. Welcome to my place. I apologize if it feels a little barren. I've only recently moved in here, and most of my personal things are stuffed in the closet. Let's see here. So we're supposed to say, I agree, it could use a little something to liven it up. Indeed, I'll get to work on it as soon as I get some free days. You must be busy considering recent developments. Yeah, you and me both. It's like you've seen this before. No, I don't want to skip ahead. To make it worse, some of the furniture I got with the apartment is straight up useless to me. Like these chairs, especially in such a large quantity. And what if you have guests over? Like today. One chair would suffice for you. Maybe one more would be handy if Sebastian suddenly decided to appear at my doorstep. That's 2 in total, not 6. I just keep knocking them over or pushing them aside all the time. You have no idea how fast it becomes extremely irritating. I can imagine. Obviously, hitting "I'm not here to listen to your complaints" is a -2. I originally said why not move them elsewhere, but she likes it if you say "I can imagine." Especially picking them up and setting them right. Oh, don't remind me. With how clumsy my hands are, it's even worse. So this next choice does not matter at all. She led me to a white sofa in front of the large TV. I took my seat by the armrest on the left, while Naomi settled on her belly on the cushions nearby and shifted her wings slightly. Anyway, feel yourself at home. There are snacks and drinks in the fridge, and if you're interested, I have a few movies we could watch that I think you'd enjoy. There are also some nice series I have full collections of, but those will take too long to sit there for a single visit. Is this what you normally do in your spare time? For the most part. My work doesn't leave me a lot of free hours, especially during more complex cases. But I try and fit in at least some minor entertainment to ease my mind, and there's nothing better for it than diving into an interesting story. I see what you mean. What sort of stories do you like? To be honest, anything well written enough will do for me. Well, maybe not the cop or crime dramas. You get enough of that already. Yeah, and the stories rarely represent reality anyway. Other than that, as long as the story is decent and characters are engaging, I'd probably enjoy it regardless of genre. Do you have any preferences, Prince? So we're gonna go with, originally I went with adventure, sci-fi, and fantasy, but this time, let's go with action movie. Pretty generic, right? I see. Since you like good writing, have you tried books? A few. Dean suggested a couple of good ones for me to read, but I didn't really get into reading. They take much longer than movies or series, and my eyes are already very tired by the evening. I also can't enjoy them on the sofa with a drink and a bowl of snacks without smearing the pages. I still owe her a replacement of that historic autobiography. Oh well. I only have my hands to blame. I seem to talk about them a lot. Because they are a constant source of annoyance. Tasks that are simple for you aren't as trivial for me. We all have drawbacks. I don't have your strength, swimming skills, or the ability to fly. I have problems with just picking up or operating small things. You can tell which of these abilities are more important in one's everyday life. How long does it take for you to cross the town, though? Naomi eyed my legs for a moment and sighed. I see what you're trying to say. One can't have everything. Okay, so... You'd always want what you're missing as a +1. Humans dreamed of flight since the dawn of our civilization for many centuries, but only recently, using extreme complex machines, we've managed to lift off the ground. Yet, those machines aren't nearly as agile and easily accessible as the wings you were born with. You're right, no matter how much you have, there's always something desirable way out of your reach. But I guess those are the things that keep us going forward in life. Of course, there's a fine balance between trying to catch the stars and setting realistic goals. I know, pragmatic people choose the latter. Some dreamers would gladly dedicate their lives to the former. What kind of person are you, Prince? So, picking pragmatic is a -1. A dreamer is a +0, and a bit of both is a +1. So we're gonna hit a bit of both. I originally hit pragmatic, not realizing that that's a -1. How so? It'd be silly not to have short-term goals, but life without a greater dream is just a boring routine. I see. A balanced approach must have helped a lot in your line of work. What about you? It's a little complicated. I guess you could say I'm closer to a dreamer, but with only a vague idea of what I want to accomplish. Everyday little things are of no concern to me. I just want to try to help out people to the best of my abilities. How did you end up in the police force, though? Oh, it's a long story. We have plenty of time. Alright, but first let's get some fresh air, if that's okay. Sure thing, a short walk would be nice. Oh, I was talking about the balcony. That will do as well. Good, take the door to your right, past that painting. But the balcony is right next to us. It's a corner apartment. Alright. I was met by a light gust of the humid sea breeze, which gently washed over me before disappearing just as suddenly seconds later. Oh look, more useless chairs. Don't even remind me. I have so much work to do in this apartment. I like the view though. Beautiful, isn't it? Yesterday, I spent an entire evening just sitting here and staring at the horizon until the sun had completely set. The days of hard mental work certainly make you appreciate every moment of peace and serenity. Moments when you can just let go of your thoughts, set aside your worries, and calmly take in your surroundings. From what I've heard, meditation works wonders for people with stressful jobs like yours. It sure does. Speaking of which, you wanted to hear how I became a police officer. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but you don't strike me as someone who'd be looking for this kind of work. No, it's fine. To be honest, you're right. I guess I better start from the very beginning. After getting my degree and trying out a few places, I was still looking for a job that would actually feel substantial at its core, not just means to an end goal of earning money. Finances were obviously not the answer I've been looking for, and considering that keeping myself afloat wasn't an issue, I could afford to keep searching. The local orphanage was looking for some volunteers, but as it turns out, I was never good with kids. I allowed them too much, and keeping track of everyone at all times exhausted me. One day, I missed a kid climbing over the fence, and he managed to sneak away. I found and returned him before any staff could notice, but it was a clear sign I wasn't cut out for this type of job. I considered trying myself at moving science forward, but with minds like Anna or even Damien already present, what could I hope to contribute? It's a very sobering experience after the high grades at university to suddenly realize how mundane you really are, and that your skills and knowledge aren't anything special compared to the true talents. Not everyone has to be the greatest in their work field. I understand, but I also want to do at the very least pull my own weight. However, I simply couldn't do that in science. Okay, so you don't have the education for it is actually a +1. You have a lot of weight to pull. Jesus Christ. -1 if you hit that, and +0 if you could still try. So we're gonna hit, you didn't have the education for it. Yeah. I'm glad you remember. For a while, I simply gave up. I was good at what I hated and absolutely unfit to do what I dreamed of. I spent my days by the seaside, looking at the horizon and wondering what lies beyond it. Our people had never tried to expand past our home continent, and even here, we have many wild and frankly dangerous places untouched by civilization. But it pales in comparison to the mysterious unknown lands. Nobody has any idea where they are or how they look. Don't you have a space program? Space program? You know, launching things into your planet's orbit using large rockets or other aircraft. Your technology could probably make it happen. Never heard of such a concept. It sounds amazingly interesting, though. Back home, we use satellites, high-quality cameras, and computers to draw a full, accurate map of our world. Here, the only widely used vehicles are boats and sometimes trains on railways for long-distance travels. There never was any real demand for other means of transportation, so they're barely developed. This is why I was curious what other places are like, and I still am. Back then it became almost a mania of mine. I started training in survival skills in the wilderness, fishing and hunting. I practiced my venom spit until I could hit a bird a good 40 meters away. Several months later, I thought I was almost ready. But then reality hit me. I talked with a few people and realized that nobody else was interested in such endeavors. I couldn't do it alone, and there was no team I could assemble. Must have been hard for you to accept. It was. Afterward, I spent weeks wasting my life either by the seaside sunbathing and diving, or at home enjoying the pointless entertainment provided by TV and computer. Meetings with university friends were scarce as well. At that point, I started to question the very reason for my existence. Until one day, things changed. During that time, I stayed up late and never hurried back home, so when the sun had set that evening, I was still on the shore, watching the last traces of red fade away in the distance. Suddenly, a large, brown earth dragon walked up to me. Bryce. Yeah. But back then I didn't know him, so I assumed the worst and prepared to put my venom-spitting practice to good use if he tried anything. We were all alone on a deserted beach, after all. Okay, so, understandable, better be safe than sorry is a +1. I originally hit Bryce can be pretty intimidating. Don't be so paranoid is a -1, this is a +0. So we're gonna hit understandable, better be safe than sorry. That's what I always say. One minor slip could make all the difference between a safe life and death. Of course, he meant no harm, and he just asked if it was alright for him to set up the annual police team get-together on the spot nearby. I said that I was about to leave anyway, so he was free to do whatever. But for some reason, instead of just nodding and walking away, he offered me to join them. And you accepted. After some hesitation, I did. I never liked big gatherings, but I'm also not very good at saying no to people. To this day, I'm not sure if he wanted to help me feel better or if he was just trying to hit on me. I wouldn't put it past Bryce either. Same. Regardless, during the party, I got to know Bryce, Maverick, Zong, and an old-timer, Lillian. They managed... Lillian. I wonder if that was the previous chief of police? Probably, right? Anyway. Naomi said they managed to talk me into opening up a little, and later suggested I join the police team. I already had good physical training for one, and Lillian, who was soon to retire, saw me as someone who could take over her responsibilities. Apparently, a finances degree had a very beneficial side effect which I didn't realize at first. My analytical skills overall had been greatly improved. I signed up the day after and got accepted almost immediately, soon finding myself in the analytics department. I was even given my own office, albeit rather small and obviously designed for a runner or a similarly sized dragon. During the final months before her retirement, Lillian did her best to teach me everything she knew about investigations and police work in general, and I will always be grateful for it. Once she left, all of her responsibilities have been transferred to me, making me a fully fledged, albeit young police officer. And what happened to Lillian? After the resignation, she moved to the same big city my family did, so we at least get to meet up once in a while. The usual stuff, you know. Hang out in some bar, share news, have a few light drinks. Quite a lot of fun for an old-timer. Oh, she's only 43. Police officers retire early, in about 20 years of service. Actually, it's the same back in my world. A curious similarity. You could certainly say that. So, do you like your job? Does it feel like the place you belong to? I guess. I'm helping people and contributing to make our world a better, safer place. Probably as good as it's going to get in my life. Maybe one day I will fulfill my dream and see the other continents, but until then, I have duties to follow. So, saying you'll get an opportunity eventually, I'm sure of it, is a +1. So we're gonna go with that. Keep up the good work, but never forget your goals and dreams. I try my best. Naomi looked down at the street below and sighed heavily. I think we should head back inside, but why? I glanced down as well and saw a loose group of dragons that grew larger by the minute. They talked over each other and were too far to properly hear, but Naomi and I seemed to be the sole focus of their attention. People are starting to gather below to get a glance at the mythical human. I'd rather not deal with creepy stalkers around my house, regardless of who their real target is. They wouldn't harm you or me. I know, but they're annoying and a little unsettling. Alright. We returned to the large white couch. Can't blame those people. If a dragon paid a visit to my world, the crowds would have been even bigger. Sounds uncomfortable. Say, what about you? If you had come back with me through the portal, would you? Is this an offer? Just a question, for the sake of our discussion. I'd have loved to see how you live, your people, your towns and cities. There's so much I'm curious about. Oh, and your technology, it must be amazing. If your PDAs are any indication, you're decades ahead of us in computers, robotics, and the likes. Though I'd be rather concerned about the whole part involving getting a lot of extra attention. Yeah, you'd probably spend a lot of your time being swarmed by people, taking pictures, asking questions, trying to get an autograph, and so on. That can't feel good. Though I'm sure our authorities would keep them away if you were to ask. That would probably be too much trouble to ask for, and some people would get upset because of it. I think I'd rather stay here than deal with crowds, to be honest. Shame to miss out on so much, but oh well. Enough boring talk. You're here to have fun, right? So, okay, so you got some interesting options here. So, if you use the sexual innuendo here, I'm looking forward to having a lot of fun with you, if you know what I mean. That is a -1. I'm sorry, that's not a -1, it's even worse. It says, if you pick that, it's an immediate conclusion, and her status goes to bad. You said, the note says, that is not what she meant by fun, you pervert. Wow. Yeah, I did not pick that one. I actually originally picked, it was never supposed to be a vacation, which is a +0. You could be a little bit mean and say, finally, I was falling asleep. That's a -1. Or you can say, I've been enjoying my time here already. That's a +1. So we're going to go with that. Yeah, you can't come on her too strong, especially not early on. You cannot come on her strong. She does not like that at all. That's nice to hear, but it would make for a somewhat boring evening if we didn't try anything else besides endless discussions. So, how about a fine movie? What do you have in mind? You said you like action films, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I think I know a good one. Let me set everything up. Naomi slipped off the cushions in a single fluid move, not unlike a huge cat, and walked up to the device located below the large wall-mounted TV. She fiddled with it for a time and then made a quick trip to the fridge before returning with 2 portions of snacks and drinks. The dragoness placed them on the glass table nearby and hopped onto the couch, settling next to me. Now, we are all set. She picked up a sizable remote and pushed a couple of buttons on it. A second later, the screen lit up. And of course, we don't get to see what the movie is or anything, unfortunately. A couple of hours later, the movie had come to a conclusion. For a story about fighting against a secret organization trying to take over the world, it had a surprisingly solid script and well-written characters. Barely noticed the passage of time. To be honest, it's one of my personal favorites. It doesn't have the deepest meaning or a complicated plot, but I think it was very enjoyable. What do you say? Alright, so specifically for the action movie, saying it was great is a +1. I'm happy you loved it. It wasn't a perfect film, of course, but you're right, it was very enjoyable. Reminds me of the old classic action movies we have back in my world. Now you've made me curious. I hope I'll get to watch them myself someday. I guess this part of our get-together is over. Do you have anything else planned? Not really, no. It's pretty early still, but I doubt we have the time for another movie. I think I've seen enough for today. Yeah, that too. Honestly, you caught me in a bit of a hard spot because normally I'd go out right now, but with Raza at large, we can't afford any risk when it comes to your security. It's best to play it safe until this incident is resolved. And it's probably going to take a while, seeing how little evidence we have at hand. I'm doing whatever I can to help. I know, and we are all grateful for the assistance you provide, don't get me wrong. Raza's case is advancing slowly, but it's certainly not your fault, Prince. Maybe you could tell me more about him. What type of person is he? For as long as I've remembered him, he's been outspoken, determined, and full of enthusiasm about any undertaking he faced. Many praised him for such an attitude, but naturally, a few clashes here and there were inevitable. Sounds like they shouldn't have assigned Maverick to look after him. It was a conflict waiting to happen. Probably. I feel like it was a poor display of character on both sides. I agree. Maverick is hard to work with, and I know it from experience, but Raza had also been showing rude disregard for people around him. And they matched up to make a perfect storm. How I wish it didn't happen. Maybe then none of those people would have died. Do you believe Raza is guilty? So far, I have no other versions to work with. The motives are rather transparent, and if you align the list of people who could have used the murder weapons with those who had a motive and opportunity to commit those crimes, you are only left with one name, Raza. But what if someone is trying to set him up? That is possible, however, who would have a motive? Maverick heavily despised Raza, but he doesn't have hands nimble enough to wield a knife. Nobody else is even aware of the situation enough to get an idea to frame your colleague. You could argue that said murders are completely unrelated to humankind's visit, but nothing connects the victims otherwise. I know, I've checked carefully many times. Okay, so... picking you're probably right is a +1. Sounds like you've been working on this for a while. It's pretty hard to disagree with your points there. I spent so many hours building and polishing the case, you wouldn't believe. Do you think I wanted to go on vacation in the middle of an important investigation? What vacation? You never said anything about it. Oh right, I completely forgot to tell you. Bryce gave me an actual order to get a day off, and it wasn't up to negotiation. Recently, he caught me in the office a good 4 hours after the shift's end. He was apparently going home from a bar and saw a light from outside. He looked worried. Of course he'd be worried. Bryce seems the type who cares deeply about every person on his team. That's true. He reminded me of all the times I stayed late and said that I'm burning myself out and should get some rest. I tried to argue, but he firmly stood by his position. That's not all either. He actually escorted me home and warned that crossing the town at night is dangerous with the murderer at large. And I didn't even think of it until he pointed it out. How stupid of me. So here I am, neck deep in material to process and analyze, but with an unexpected day off coming up. So, it should be your decision as a +1. He was wrong as a -2. And Bryce is right as a +0. Interesting. Should be your decision. True, but after the arguments Bryce provided, it was hard to disagree, even though he had a little to drink. I hope this vacation will do you some good. Thanks, it's been a while since I got the chance to relax anyway. And I don't want to find out if the murderer is interested in seeing me gone. I often stay out way past sunset, and that would give them the perfect opportunity to strike. You're pretty big and strong, though. I doubt they dare to attack you. Did you see the maintenance guy, the second victim? Our species are very similar in size and strength. He didn't even get a chance to fight back. I think it's better I play it safe until everything settles. At least I have enough movies and a computer with network access, so it shouldn't be too boring. Could be more fun with friends. Yeah, but the police department guys are busy, and none of my former university colleagues are anywhere to be found. I'm sorry if what I say next sounds a little rude or too personal. Go ahead. I'm surprised that a dragon like you doesn't have a special someone. Oh, how so? Saying you're so clingy is a -1. Go figure. You're pretty cute is a +1. And was simply wondering is a +0. So now we can get a little bit flirty with her. She likes us enough now, I guess. So we're gonna say you're pretty cute. She is pretty cute. She's a very colorful looking dragon. You gotta admit, she's very pretty. And yet no dragon tried to swoon you? My police badge might be scaring them off. But even if it doesn't, my schedule and lifestyle doesn't involve meeting a lot of new faces. I don't feel like I've ever had the chance to meet a person I consider for such a role in my life, or maybe I'm just not trying hard enough because I'm too afraid. Afraid of what? Of getting rejected or humiliated and then having said person think less of me for the rest of my life. Sounds rather extreme. I doubt anyone would actually do that to you. I know, but then there's another fear, something I once almost fell a victim to. The fear that said person would lie to me and fake acceptance, only to use me one way or another. Once bitten, twice shy. You mentioned it earlier, but you talked about it so lightly I didn't think it was anything serious. I've long moved on, but I just can't trust people in such matters anymore. Maybe not yet. Then take your time, find a person you like, get to know them better, and then try to show some subtle signs of attention. Sounds like a good plan, Prince. Are you speaking from experience? Saying, yeah, I've had a few affairs is a -1. A little, only tried it once before is a +0. And no, it was merely an assumption is a +1. So we're gonna go with that. Don't you have anyone waiting for you back home? Can't say I have. I see. I'll try your method and see if it works. Alright. Do you have anyone in mind? It's not a secret? I might, but it is a secret. We'll see how things unfold. Naomi turned her head around towards the window and glanced at the street behind the glass. Following her, I turned my head and leaned to a look as well over her shoulder. It was still rather light. The clouds next to the horizon started to turn orange-red hues, marking a quick approach of the evening. It's getting pretty late. We should prepare to leave soon. We? Do you think I'll let you go home unguarded? Oh, right. Sharply, she turned her head around. Her muzzle ended up inches away from my face. Okay, so here is an interesting situation, right? So, politely back off from her is a +0 to mood and a +0 to romance. Land a light kiss. It says see below for details. If mood counter is above 7, you get a +1 to mood and a +3 to romance. If mood counter is above 4, but lower than 8, you get a +0 to mood and a +1 to romance. If mood counter is 4 or below, you get a -3 to mood and a +0 to romance. So we should definitely have a mood counter above 7 by this point. So we're going to go ahead and go for the kiss and see how she reacts. I did not try to do that in my first playthrough, so I felt like that would have been coming on too strong, you know. Because I did feel like it was kind of a mistake, but we're gonna go for it because she likes us enough. Land a light kiss. Despite her apparent surprise, Naomi remained in place and let me peck her muzzle. The scales felt a little rough to the touch. Oh my, getting ahead of ourselves, aren't we, Prince? You don't mind? Just this one time. Anyway, I suggest we have dinner before going. Sounds like a plan. I know you said you don't like cooking, but how about I make something instead? You can? I was planning to order a delivery. Let me see what supplies we have. Okay, so you actually get choices on what you can cook here. So, alright, we'll get to that in a second. I got off the sofa and headed towards the fridge. A quick glance over the supplies revealed a rather sizable selection of fish, chicken, and meat snacks, some algae, and a wide variety of vegetables. Quite decent for someone who doesn't cook at home. It doesn't seem to have oil or anything of sorts, but plenty of sauces to choose from. With most of the food already pre-cooked, preparing something with it wouldn't take a lot of time. An idea clicked in my mind. So, beef and vegetables is a +0. Fried fish with salad and algae is a +1. Chicken fillet with cheese and ham is a +1. And a vegetarian salad with algae is a -1. This is the comment says, really? Only a salad? Alright, so we're gonna go with chicken fillet with cheese and ham. While meat snacks had to substitute actual ham or bacon, the rest of the ingredients were readily available. The chicken bits, as they were advertised in the package, were in fact full, ready-to-eat fillets. Using raw counterparts, we'd have been better for overall taste, but I had to make do with what I had. After cutting them open, I added the extra components, hoping for the molten cheese to seal everything together inside. Soon I stuffed the tray with my improvised dish into the oven and set it to the right temperature. From the corner of my eye, I noticed Naomi intently monitoring me from her resting position. Her tail swished ever so slightly and her wings remained relaxed, aside from a subtle, wavy motion. A clear indication that she likes you. When my eyes made contact with hers, she smiled, and the tip of her tail seemed to perk up in response. It's kind of like a cat. Eventually, the cooking was finished, and I loaded the fruits of my labor into a single large bowl. Together with it, I grabbed a couple of plates, some bread, and returned to Naomi's couch. Only then I realized a complete lack of poultry, save for a lone ladle. Smells delicious, Prince. Thanks, I tried my best. The dragoness proceeded to merely devour her portion with little concern about her surroundings. On the other hand, without forks, knives, or spoons, I had to wait for my food to cool off. Hey, no need to rush, we still have time. Sorry, your cooking is just too good. Why aren't you eating? It's too hot for me. It'd burn my fingers if I grabbed it, and my mouth probably wouldn't fare much better either. Is your skin really that sensitive? I don't have scales like you do. Alright, don't worry, I'll make sure to leave you a fair share. Do you honestly enjoy my cooking so much? I did. It's the first time I got a chance to try out a home meal since my parents moved to the city. Okay, so saying you can have my portion is a +1. Obviously, learn to cook is a -1, and I'm glad you liked it as a +0. You can have my portion. You sure that's alright? I can always make myself more when I get back to my apartment. It's fine, just take it. Thank you. Oh shit, what happened? I don't know why it skipped that. Huh? Oh, it's just a little glitch. Okay. There's a little glitch with the UI there. It didn't take long for Naomi to clear out most of the remaining food. She still left a few bites, by then cool enough to handle. She shyly nudged them towards me. Need to eat something too, Prince. I don't feel right stuffing my face while you remain hungry. Oh, don't worry about me, but you have a point. I could use a snack before heading out. Enjoy your meal. Once we were both finished, she leaned back and squinted her eyes for a few seconds before glancing back at me. I guess we should get going. Yeah, let's call it a day. My apartment isn't far from here, so there's no need to rush. Well, I'll need to buy some more supplies after escorting you home, and the shops aren't going to stay open for much longer. I see. I hope I didn't make a boring host. I'm not very used to having people come over, to be honest. But thanks for stopping by. I thought it was fun. We should meet up again soon, maybe during your vacation? Most definitely. And I might have just the idea on how to make it more interesting. We walked up to the main door and stopped for a moment while Naomi was fiddling with the lock. Still can't get used to the cursed thing. She looked back for a moment and, much to my surprise, flicked her long tongue across the tip of my nose and giggled playfully. Now we are even. Oh shit. She is really liking this. Upon opening the door, however, we were greeted by Sebastian idly sitting on a couch and leaning back with his eyes shut. Seb, what are you doing here? I thought I was the one responsible for Prince for today. You can't be responsible for any assignment when your shift is over, Naomi. Oh, right. Why didn't you let me know that you were here? I have enough room for everyone. I'm still on the clock, so I was patrolling the area. Only sat down here recently to take a breather and look after the main entrance. Right. That is it for today, then. Yeah, I'll take it from here. At least you won't be late to buy your supplies now. I guess. Take care, Prince. Just sounds sad to see us leave. Wow. Nothing going on today. Guess I can do whatever. Screw everybody. I want to spend my time with Naomi. Spend the day reading. And I decided to spend time reading. Let's skip ahead. Morning sun. I'm fine. I'll get over it. Okay, so we have to pick something here. So we're gonna go to the police archives. Saru. Man, I enjoyed voice acting for him, though. That was a lot of fun. Sorry, Casaru. Alright, so we're gonna, doesn't really matter. Play a prank. I think I already did a lot of this stuff, too. And just rummage through the trash. And there's nothing there because I already grabbed the thing that was in there. Oh, look at the time. Yeah, man. Wow, rummaging through the trash. It took so much time. Alright, yeah, we got the portal scene. Stay inside. We'll go to the store. Alright, finally. Meet with Naomi. Good day, Prince. Ready for the big adventure? Hey. What big adventure? I don't remember you mentioning anything about one. This is my surprise. Alright, you have my attention. I was thinking how to make our meeting more interesting, and I got this one idea. I hope you wouldn't mind, though. How about we go diving together? Of course, I'll get you all the necessary equipment and supplies. Okay, so we gotta go to chapter 3 here on the guide. Sounds fun, I'm in, is +1. Can't miss the chance to see what your ocean is like. For how long can you hold your breath? For me, it's about 20 minutes, give or take. Probably about a minute or so, possibly a little more. No, that won't do. We are gonna need some scuba gear and flippers then, since you don't appear to have any frills or membranes. If I'm not mistaken, no tail either. Correct. Come to think of it, I've actually never seen how you look underneath the clothes. It's nothing special. I might get a peek today, though, unless you plan to swim in this outfit of yours. Which I wouldn't recommend, because it appears to get soaked easily, and you'll probably ruin it. I'm perfectly aware of that, Naomi. Just saying. So, where to? I know a good shop to get you geared up. I could probably even help you with proper swimming clothes. Really? I thought your people didn't normally wear anything. Except for special equipment. Plenty of non-aquatic dragons like diving, and while scales in general provide decent enough protection and insulation, sometimes they aren't enough. You'd be surprised how popular wetsuits are. I doubt they'd fit me, I'm not exactly dragon-shaped. Not a full costume, of course, but some parts might work, maybe if we take them from several sets. We'll see at the store. Let's go. Okay, interesting. So, in that scene, if you had picked not interested, says, this concludes the get-together, her status remains the same, and sends you back to the character selection menu. You still have the option to go back and try again with Naomi, but it'll take up the second slot for Chapter 3. Note that if her status is impressed, and if you don't re-meet with her in Chapter 4, by then a good/bad ending with Naomi would be unobtainable. Her status will be abandoned in Chapter 5. So you definitely don't want to pick that. Alright. It took us over an hour to find all the necessary pieces of swimming clothes which could fit me. Of course, there was a hole for the tail, which gave the outfit a rather questionable look for a human fashion perspective. Naomi helped me find the best available flippers as well as the scuba gear itself with a miraculously fitting breathing mask. The sales dragon claimed that someone so small should be able to easily last about 4.5 hours with such equipment. In addition, Naomi also purchased a couple of smaller air bottles for emergency cases and handed one over to me. The same store also offered refill services for air tanks, which we gladly used. Later that day, we arrived at a secluded beach not far from town. This place should be as good as any. Did you explore this area before? Not really. Normally I go to another spot for a swim, but it's rather crowded this time of day. Let's hope it's safe. The whole shore is. As long as we don't go too far off the coast or bleed to attract sharks, we'll be alright. I'll keep an eye out for any signs of possible trouble either way. Sebastian won't be able to accompany us down there, so your security is once again on me. Before we start, give me a moment to try out the equipment. I'm not really used to scuba diving. Sure, take your time. I extracted the swimming suit from the bag and started undoing my shirt when I noticed Naomi's curious stare on myself. Do you mind? In my society, it's impolite to look at people changing clothes. Alright. She quickly shifted her position and faced the sea. For good measure, I turned the opposite direction, towards the forest as well. Done undressing, I hid my clothes in a nearby thick shrub and switched my attention towards the swimming gear when I was suddenly interrupted. Is this how you really look under the fabric? Naomi, didn't I tell you? It's adorable! I never knew humans were so cute! You look so cuddly and vulnerable. No tail, no scales, no claws, spikes, or armor of any sort. Oh, I wish I could wrap you up in my wings and hold you close to my chest. Not right now, please. It's getting awkward already. I couldn't help it when I saw you naked. I looked back to see Naomi stare at me once more without a tingle of shame on her face. What's the whole idea behind clothes in the human society anyway? You always have a lot of things on, only leaving a small part of the body in the open. You said it yourself. We don't have anything to protect our skin or keep us warm. So clothes were the solution in the prehistoric times. Eventually, after many centuries of civilization development, covering oneself up became more than simple necessity, but rather a norm or tradition to follow as well, especially when it came to hiding certain more private parts of our bodies. Private parts? Reproductive parts. Oh. I was almost done putting on the swimming suit. Here, we don't have a problem walking around as we are, really. Of course, we have specialized outfits for jobs which require them, but for the most part, it comes down to accessories with extra functionality, like bags, insignias, and other minor elements, mostly decorative. For humans, showing yourself naked to someone is considered either rude and shameless, or a sign of affection and displayed interest in intimacy. Some people actually find the sight of an undressed individual rather pleasing, too. Well, there are also nudists. I mean, that's worth keeping in mind. Like, not everybody's ashamed to just go around as they are. I do suppose it would be rather strange for a species that is, used to just going around as they are, to see humans just, always wearing something on themselves. Be like, why do you wear all that stuff? It makes sense in the cold, right? But then, like, in the heat, they'd be, like, really confused. Like, why are you wearing all this stuff? They just wouldn't get it. Hold on. For this whole time, I've only been wearing my police badge and sometimes the belt pouches for stuff. Were you enjoying the view this whole time, Prince? Taking advantage of our society's traditions? That'd be exactly the kind of thought that nudists would probably think. No, of course not. I respect your ways of life, so I never brought it up to anyone around here. We humans are also much more revealed without the clothing, so it's very different between our species. I was just trying to describe the role clothes play in our society. Oh. Seriously jumping into conclusions, didn't I? It's alright, we are still learning about each other. I'm sorry, I really am. With how nice you have been to me so far, I should have learned to trust you more. Don't worry, it's just a small misunderstanding. Oh, okay, so this is a different, option. I didn't get this originally. Yeah, she didn't give me, like, all this dialogue and how sorry she is and the trusting thing. I didn't get that in my first playthrough with her. So you can either give her a hug, pat her on the shoulder, or do nothing. So it says, Naomi misunderstood what you said about nakedness and human traditions and jumps to conclusions about you. She regrets what she said and is sorry. You can either give her a hug, which is a mood +1 and a romance +1, pat her on the shoulder, which is a mood +1, romance +0, or do nothing, which is mood +1, romance or mood +0, romance +0. So we're gonna go for the hug. We're gonna give her a hug. I walked up to Naomi and wrapped my arms snugly around her upper chest. Returning the gesture, she draped one of her wings over my back and pulled me closer into the embrace. She felt warmer and softer than I had expected. Thank you, Prince. Eventually I let go, and so did she. So how are your preparations? I shifted the heavy air tank on my back to make sure it was secured properly, glanced at the flippers I was wearing, and made a few awkward steps. It should be completed now. Let me take a look one more time before we go in. A few minutes later, Naomi was done checking my equipment to the best of her abilities. Her own small emergency air tank was hanging on her waist, sharing the belt with several pouches. Should be good. Remember to take your time. Yeah, none of this stuff was designed for a human, and I don't want anything to go wrong underwater. I have your back. No matter what happens down below, I'll get you to shore. Promise. You are quite brave all of a sudden. Got to inspire confidence in you somehow, but please don't get reckless and endanger us both. I would never. Good to hear. Let's put this equipment through a proper test then. Yeah, so this is cute, you know. This mod's just really well done, I must say. Very well written. Looking good so far. I pushed myself off the bottom and went for a short swim on the safe shallows. Naomi stayed nearby, paddling lazily on the surface and giving me a rather judgmental look. What's wrong? Nothing. Come on, tell me. The way you swim is kind of funny. And slow. Well, I can't hope to challenge a water dragon, can I? Oh, of course not. I was comparing you to other non-aquatic species. How bad is it? Just be honest. Naomi. In speed, you could probably beat an untrained flyer, I think. Oh well. At least I'm not the absolute worst at this. That's the spirit. Yeah, we're number 11 out of 12, yes. Anyway. However, we are going to travel quite some distance from here, so I would think it would be best if you held onto my tail. It seems pretty slippery. Are you sure it's a good idea? A long swim will exhaust you otherwise, so grab the fins near the tip and don't let go until I tell you to. Got it. Soon the shore started shrinking. Waves grew slightly in size and strength, making it harder to hold on. It takes a while for the depth to increase around this area. Some scientists even said that there used to be an island or peninsula here, but for reasons unknown, it sank. Several minutes later, Naomi stopped. Alright, we have arrived. You can let go now. Wouldn't it have been simpler if we rented a boat or something? In hindsight, you're right. Too late now, though. Yeah. Can you take off from the water, by the way? No. Oh well. I put on the rebreather, switched the valve the way the shopkeeper showed me, and took a long, careful breath. Everything appeared to be in order. With a gesture, I signaled Naomi that I'm good to go, and she nodded in return before suddenly disappearing beneath the ocean waves. I followed suit. Okay, so this is interesting. So we got a choice coming up here. Now, I was kind of afraid. I wanted to play it safe on my first playthrough, but it actually screwed it up, apparently. So, I'll explain in a minute. She glanced back at me and smirked. Much to my surprise, instead of paddling like she did before, Naomi tucked all 6 of her limbs close to her body, fully unfolded her crest and frills, and started to wriggle like a sea serpent, rapidly picking up speed. In a few moments, she was already a good 50 meters ahead, near the very bottom, kicking up clouds of silt, and just as quickly she returned to me, barely hiding her smugness. I can only shrug in silent defeat and continue my slow descent. Very pretty. For a time, we simply explored the rocky seafloor. Small fish of all shapes and colors could be seen darting about the fields of corals and alien vegetation, but never leaving their safe cover. I don't even know how to pronounce that, and other arthropods were also surprisingly common, mostly busy crawling somewhere or sifting through the silt in search for edible pieces of organics. One of them in particular seemed to have gotten Naomi's attention. She beckoned me to come closer, pointed her claw at the faint red, white patterned creature, and firmly shook her head. I shrugged and tried to take a closer look, but was stopped by a gentle yet firm grasp of her jaws on my shin. She let go of me, pointed her finger at the arthropod, then at me, then at her own throat, and made a slow, wavy motion from frills to frills. To illustrate her point further, the dragoness opened her muzzle and spat out a small cloud of something green, which quickly dissipated in the water. Poison. The creature was venomous. And not just that, but dangerous enough to warrant a special warning. Fighting the urge to hit myself on the forehead for stupidity, I nodded at Naomi, who then continued her exploration. A couple of times she had to swim up for a breath of fresh air while I stayed back at the bottom to avoid the negative effects of a quick pressure shift. During one of such breaks, I discovered a steep rocky drop which went at least good 2-3 dozen of meters down. Not willing to risk going alone, I waited for Naomi to come back before we both proceeded to descend further down the slope. And at the bottom of it, there was a cave. Without much hesitation, we made our way inside, but something about it felt wrong. The floor was way too smooth, even taking into account layers upon layers of sand and debris. A fair distance from the entrance, we could finally see the far wall, but it wasn't a dead end. What we found here made my eyes go wide in shock and surprise. A large metal door frame. It was a sunken entrance to some ancient complex. Despite its apparent old age, which I could only estimate to be centuries, if not more, it reminded me a lot of the modern military structures we used to have back home. And to make it even more confusing, some of the wall lights were still working. Just like me, Naomi was glancing around in wonder. studying the concrete walls and multiple pipe and cable lines going along them. They must have been made using extremely advanced alloys to withstand the hostile seawater environment for so long. Who could have built this? When? And why? Yet I'm not sure finding the answers is worth facing the dangers likely lurking inside. I signaled Naomi to head back to the surface so we could talk. Whatever that facility is, it must be over 1,000 years old. I certainly didn't expect to find anything of this scale on our little trip. You have no idea how exciting this is. Do you think it's safe to explore? Probably not. I'll have to move very slowly to avoid entangling myself in the hanging cables, so we might not make it very far past the entrance. For how long can you hold your breath down there? About 20 minutes in ideal conditions, but with physical strain, heavy stress, and some other factors, it will be closer to 11 or 12. Enclosed dark places scare me, to be honest. It's nothing drastic you should be worried about, but my body will expend oxygen faster, and there's nothing I can do about it. Maybe I should go on my own if it's too stressful for you. This tank should have at least 4 more hours of air left. Not a chance. I'm responsible for your security, and that place is anything but safe. If you're going in, so am I. Okay, so picking I don't want to take any risks is this get-together is concluded. Naomi's status is lowered 1 stage, and picking this guarantees you the worst ending. So that's what I picked. I went with I don't want to take any risks. I just wanted to be on the safe side. Because it sounded dangerous, you know what I mean? But I didn't know that guarantees you the worst ending, so oops. Let's see what's inside that facility. It says this keeps you on the path for all 5 endings. So we're going to go with that. Let's see what's inside that facility then. But first, we're going to save because I still think this is a very bad idea. Okay. Let's see what's inside that facility. Okay. Before we do this, though, I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. I'm with you. I put my breather on and back on and went to the cave entrance at the seafloor. Okay, so look at this. This is interesting. Naomi's breath, 10 minutes. Air tank supply, 242 minutes. So it says, if you leave the facility or if either of you run out of air, this guarantees you the worst ending. Complete the underwater facility puzzle. Alright, so I've never done this before, so this is all new territory for me. Slowly we proceeded through the main entrance hall. Okay, so I guess we'll go north, right? Do I have to use my... Oh, okay, no, I can use the controller. Oh, that's weird. I use the right stick instead of the... Oh, no, you can use the left stick. You can use either one. Okay. I'm on an Xbox controller, by the way. Okay, so we'll go north. We ran into a corridor crossing. Okay, I checked my PDA and made sure that both the compass and the mapper tool were working properly. Like, it doesn't even have like a, it doesn't even guide you on this, so I'm just gonna have to do this on my own, I guess. Am I not able to pick east? Yeah, for some reason. Oh, there we go. Now I can. And a little wonky on here. I can't really... I'm pressing left, and I'm not able to go left. I'm even using the D-pad, and it's not working. I can easily pick north or south, but I can't pick east or west, which is very strange. I have to use the cursor. Alright, fair enough. I'll use the cursor for now, then. I guess we'll go... Just continue heading north for now, I guess. Air tank status, 4 hours remaining. Okay, we can't go any further. Okay, so there's the map displayed down here. Okay, interesting. Let's try going east. On the other side of the fragile double doors, we found a spacious room with a few scattered pieces of furniture. Closer inspection revealed remains of a couple of sofas, thin broken glass that once belonged to a screen, and large fragments of ceramic tableware. All other debris lying around was too damaged to tell its past purposes. Suddenly, a shadow separated itself from the pile of rubble and charged right at us at lightning speed. Before I knew it, two lines of razor-sharp teeth appeared right in front of my face but stopped just short of reaching it. I recoiled on instinct, and only then saw Naomi hold the shark by the spine with her own jaws. Clouds of blood flowed out of the open wound, mixed with some green substance. Soon it was all over. The dragoness let the dead fish float to the floor and glanced at me with concern. I nodded and lifted my head as a sign of gratitude. Jesus. So we gotta head back west. So nothing really happens in that other than her losing air. She's only got 5 minutes left. The north part was blocked off by a blast door covered in vegetation. Despite its old age, its operating mechanisms appeared functional. The card reader on the doorframe nearby had two dim lights shining through the green jelly-like mass. Can we go past these double doors? Door is locked. So no, we cannot. No way through, so we'll head west. How about that? A few meters into the corridor, Naomi pointed upwards and started to ascend. Looking up to follow the dragoness, I noticed sparkling ripples above which could only mean one thing: surface. Quickly, I made my way up and found myself in an enclosed air pocket. I removed my rebreather and exhaled wildly, drawing in stale, humid air. Naomi made her appearance in front of me a second later. Our faces ended up inches away from each other. Hey. Hello. Naomi looked around and visibly shuddered, but quickly returned her attention to me. Wonderful. I was worried about not having enough oxygen to explore this facility, but with the sufficient amount of air pockets, it shouldn't be an issue. Who do you think built this whole thing? We can't be sure. It's far too advanced for something so old to be of dragon origin. But our history also had several great wars, and the official records could have been destroyed. Makes me wonder why it had been flooded. Not just flooded, with so much rubble everywhere, and the several caved-in ceilings I've seen so far, I'd say it has collapsed into the sea. So a natural disaster. Unlikely. No earthquakes could have been recorded in the area as far as I know. No earthquakes have been recorded, I mean. And no other natural phenomena could have done so much damage to an underground complex without trashing it completely, which raises further questions. I doubt we'll find the answers, but we could try. So let's head south, see what's further down. West. Another corridor. We made our way towards what appeared to once house the entrance security room. None of the computers or other electronic devices had survived the prolonged exposure to the salt-filled corrosive seawater, and most of the furniture had long crumbled in a pile of debris overgrown with seaweed. While I had no doubt that back in the past the door control override could be accessed from here, now the room was little more than a junk-filled cave. Suddenly, Naomi waved at me from the far corner of the room and pointed at the ground. I quickly swam over to her and looked at the direction she provided. Using my directional light, I managed to locate the shiny object, which turned out to be an access card. Surprised at first by its survival, I soon realized that it was printed on a plate of gold or gold-based alloy, which made it impervious to the seawater. I can't fucking talk tonight, Jesus. Anyway, no captions on it were readable, though. Okay, so I guess we picked that up, right? It's useful for something, certainly. A hallway making a sharp turn with an air pocket that allowed Naomi to take a breather and refill her air supply. Alright, let's head back and let's see if we can open that door then. Maybe. The door to the north was still locked and sealed. Can we open it now? I had to carefully clear out the reader before attempting to slide the keycard through. Oh my god, it does work. It took a lot of tries, but eventually it was properly detected and the door started to slowly slide up, picking up large clouds of silt. How the hell is this place still functioning? At around 1/3 of the way, however, it got stuck and promptly shut down. Lights on the reader changed to all red. The opening was tall enough for us to swim through at least. Oh shit. Okay. Okay, let's head east this time. See where this leads. Ah, another air pocket. Excellent. A long hallway with an air pocket that allowed Naomi to take a breather and refill her air supply. Okay, let's go south. The south path was blocked off by a blast door covered in vegetation. Despite its old age, its operating mechanisms appeared functional. The card reader on the doorframe nearby had two dim lights shining through the green, jelly-like mass. Does the card reader open this? It does. I had to carefully clear out the reader before attempting to slide the card through. It took a lot of tries, but eventually it was properly detected and the door started to slowly slide open, kicking up large clouds of silt. At around 1/3 of the way, however, it got stuck and promptly shut down. Lights on the reader changed to all red. The opening was tall enough for us to swim through at least. And that connects us back here. Okay. Clearly. So that could be a useful emergency exit, right? Let's head back. Let's let her refill her oxygen. There we go. Let's head north. Let's see what's further east. Another hallway. Okay, let's head north. Let's head west this time. Let's keep heading west. Let's head north. Fuck, she's losing air. I need air. But I don't know where any could be. Fuck, there's still none. I'm gonna have to redo this. Test slab and faded cracked letters. Error. Great. Fuck. Alright, I'm gonna have to reload. Because if she runs out, then you're guaranteed the worst ending. What happened here? Son of a bitch. Okay, I don't know what any of this shit means. Okay, I don't know why it errored out like that. Hopefully that was just a weird nothing error. Let's try this again. I wish maybe I can look up a guide real quick to just kind of show me exactly what I need to do, right? Because I'm recording for a playthrough. Like, normally I wouldn't mind doing this, like, potentially several times on my own, but it's a little different when you're recording. Okay. So, solitary mine, so underwater prison? Guide. The song indicates that it's an underwater prison. That's how I know it's a prison. Underwater maze. Hold on one second. I'm gonna find a guide for this. I will find one. Yeah, I think this is my best bet, watching somebody else do this. Hang on. Oh yeah, this guy's on fire. Okay. I'm just gonna follow, like, what he does. I should be able to do exactly like what I did the first time, right? For the most part, until I get to that upper section. Okay, so he... Yeah, so I can pretty much just kind of fuck around for the most part. It's easy on here. Oh no, only 4 hours left. Okay, so we know that that's where we need the key card. He gets more air. Okay, let's kind of skip ahead of all that. So we need to go to the south. Need to pick up that key card again. Yep, there we go. Okay, we got the key card. Go back through, get more oxygen. Excellent. So he went and got all of this. I'm kind of following like basically a visual guide by someone called Yashuhu or Yashu underscore gaming. USHIO underscore gaming. Yushu? I don't know. Kind of a weird name, but okay. So we took care of that big ass monster. Can we go back and get air again? Yes, we can. That'll no doubt help. Okay, so he goes straight. It kind of looks like this guy knows what he's doing. I sure as hell don't. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just guessing too. But we're gonna find out. I'm not playing any audio. I'm just kind of watching what he's doing, seeing how this works for me. Yep, the slab. Can't use it. So let's go back. He goes through all this path on the through here. Goes to the right here. So we're gonna do the same thing. See what happens. He keeps going right. Goes all the way to the end. No, he goes all the way back, so nothing happens. Yeah, I guess she doesn't have enough oxygen. There is another path up here, though. It's an interesting little mini game that they threw in here, isn't it? We entered the room and split up to explore it. The surviving pieces of furniture hinted that it once served as cozy personal quarters to someone, but those times had long since passed. Something caught my attention on Naomi's side. It looked like a bunch of seaweed hanging from the ceiling, but it didn't seem right. I guided my flashlight up the vegetation and instantly recoiled in surprise when the colorful cap of a large jellyfish was revealed. Realizing its possible venomous nature, I rushed over to the dragoness and managed to push her away from the hanging tentacles just in time. She gave me an angry glance, but I pointed the light at the jellyfish's cap. In an instant, she dashed towards the exit and pulled me along with her. Wow. All we can do is go back. So now what? Let's try going south, I guess. So that's another way we can get back, so we need more air. So let's go get more air. There we go. Alright, well. Where to now, man? He goes this way. We're gonna do the same. I don't know if this is a good idea, but we're gonna find out. This room once used to be someone's personal quarters, judging by the remains of furniture. And nothing of value is in here, apparently. So we're gonna head back into the hallway here. This room appeared to once have housed some cages, but they've long succumbed to rust. Wow, that was absolutely useless. Okay. So that was a waste of time. let's head back, I guess. I'm gonna get more air. Let's see what's in this room. 3 hours of air remaining. This room appeared to have once housed some cages, but they've long succumbed to rust. So, once again, just another prison cell, I guess. Decisions. So he goes through this hallway here. He goes north up this way. This room appeared to be a ruined minor storage area. An air packet allowed Naomi to refill her air supply. So that's another air supply area. Oh, he actually went. It's one more over, I think. North again. Yeah. That's the dining area, according to the picture. For such a huge open space, the room we entered survived the past oh my god, I cannot speak tonight. Catastrophe unexpectedly well. Several rows of what used to be small tables and chairs made up uneven piles of debris. A mostly intact metal counter on the far end of the room remained clear of seaweed. The shelves next to it, however, weren't as lucky due to the huge chunk of concrete falling right on top of them. While Naomi was busy exploring the remaining cupboards and their contents, I studied the area around the counter. Initially, something shiny attracted my attention, but I somehow lost track of it. The thing I found under the metal table, however, made me abandon all and any further attempts. Not one, but two large, bleak red arthropods with white patterns made themselves a nest there and were currently surrounded by dozens of smaller copies. I quickly retreated to the cafeteria center and glanced at the dragon as still rummaging through the Tupperware remains. Soon, however, she glanced back at me and demonstrated a golden rectangular object held in her claws. It had a short engraved caption of Dr. Thomas, but little else. For a time, I waited until Naomi finished collecting the surviving artifacts. Alright, well, let's keep going, I suppose. Does he dare to do that too? I've got one more minute of oxygen than what he has at this point. He's debating on it. No, he heads back. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna risk going forward. I don't want to just copy completely somebody else. Unless it's like a dedicated guide, which I don't know if he knows what he's doing or not. But... ah, here's the air supply, so that was a good move. Excellent. Okay. So, at this point, since I just saved, I don't have to worry too much at this point, right? We made our way to what used to be the kitchen, now turned into a rusty mess of decayed furniture and broken Tupperware. Now I know where plenty of the air supply stations are, at least, so that's good. And since I can just reload my save, I don't have to worry too much. I can explore a little bit. I just don't like having to redo shit on my playthroughs. Okay, let's see what's... no, I should probably go back and get some air. Doesn't take long for her to need more air. But at least there are several air stations nearby. This probably just connects to the other ones, right? Oh no, it doesn't. Interesting. That just connects back there. And this probably connects over here, right? Ah, there's another air supply. Good. Yeah, that just connects back over to here. Okay. So let's head... So there's several different pathways, but none of these really lead anywhere particularly interesting, but that'll be a better pathway to take, because you get to refill your air supply if we need to leave in a hurry. Let's head south. South again. That'll connect us back up here, yeah. The south part was blocked off by a blast door covered in vegetation. Despite its old age, its operating mechanisms appeared functional. The card reader on the doorframe nearby had two dim lights shining through the green jelly-like mass. So yes, we can open that door with the key card. But let me give her more air. Let's head back up north. We approach a T-shaped connector with a sealed door to the east. After a quick cleanup, I was able to read W. Hose stamped on a rusty sign. An air pocket allowed Naomi to refill her air supply. Let's see if we can head inside of here. Okay, so we have two different options. Try the security card on the western door, or try Dr. Thomas's card on the western door. Okay, so let's try the regular one first. Error. Okay, let's try again. Let's try the Dr. Thomas card. Error. Okay, so neither one of those will open that up. Okay, so there must still be yet another key card. I'm gonna save again, just because I can. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna save in a new slot just in case. Okay. Because I also have to keep in mind of my air. I mean, I've got a lot more than her, but I can't refill mine. Let's head north. If I fuck up, I can just reload. Son of a bitch, there's nothing here. This room once used to be someone's personal quarters, judging by the remains of furniture. So that was absolutely worthless. Hopefully I can get back down here so I can get more air. I should have just enough moves to get back. You know what, since that was so worthless, I'm just gonna reload. It's using up my precious air too. That did absolutely nothing for me. And yeah, once again, error. I don't know why it pulls up an error, but it doesn't seem to affect anything, so I guess we're good. Anyway, so let's not head north. This time let's head east. Ah, another, okay, good. Okay, that's where we get that one. Okay, so let's head all the way back up here, right? I think that's the only area we can really go to, right? Let's try and use that Dr. Thomas card and see if that makes a difference. Damn, we've covered a lot of area now. Damn it. Neither one of these will work? Shit. Okay. Yeah. So east. East again. Get the oxygen. So I guess the only other area we can... Well, no, there's this area too over here, but I want to see if this connects over here or maybe there's other options. Did I try the store or not? I can't remember. It doesn't cost me anything to try it. We can go further south. That did nothing. Yeah, I'm not following his guide at all anymore. Well, not guide, but playthrough, rather. Just kind of curious. See what paths he tried to take. I'm trying to think now. I'm thinking I should probably try to go over here. I can refill my air over here, move up, and then we can go and see what's on the west side over there. I'm gonna try that. Open that door. Keep heading that way. 2 hours of my oxygen tank remaining. She needs more air. There we go. Yeah, this is like the only other path I can take. Well, no, there's one over here too. Oh, that just leads to that empty room now. We approached a T-shaped connector on the west. There was another sealed door overgrown with seaweed. One major cleanup later, I was able to read most of the word engraved on it. It read M. Deba, with a sizable cross sign placed above it. The locked room seemed like it could be worth checking out as soon as I'd find my way in. Yeah, let's see if either one of those keycards will work. Access granted, yes. We entered the former med bay. Once state-of-the-art equipment now lay on the overground floor in rusty pieces and rounded shards of glass. Cabinets were tipped over, their shelves, empty of all supplies, were taken over by vegetation and schools of small fish, using them as shelter. While I was studying the container's contents, Naomi was scanning remains of beds, tables, and drawers. She picked up an intact glass vase out of the rubble and stuffed it into one of her belt bags. She also managed to extract 2 ceramic plates and a mug. Behind one of the cupboards, I spotted a wall safe. Many years in the hostile environment did no favor to its condition. I pulled the handle, and the hinges broke clean off. What I didn't expect was the large bubble of air that followed the door. Inside the container, I found some brittle papers way too frail and faded to read, and a single golden keycard with supply storage engraved on it. Oh, okay, interesting. So it's gonna be one of these rooms, right? We got another keycard. So which one is it gonna be? I'm officially playing this like a freaking RPG now, just like making 100 save slots. We ran into a corridor crossing, an air pocket allowed her to refill her oxygen. Good. That just connects down to here. I don't think that's going to lead to anything else interesting. Let's try this door first. Fuck. That was not the right one. Yep, go ahead and air out. Okay. Ignore. Okay. Let's go all the way through here. Yeah, I couldn't find any guide on how to do this successfully. At least not that I could find. It does say warehouse, so there's a very good chance this might be it. Yes. Feeling the sunken interiors behind it. Rows of long metal shelves line up the room. They were bolted to the floor and thus remain in near perfect order, although they had too suffered from centuries spent in seawater. Many boxes of different sizes, shapes, and materials littered the floor, but they were either rusted shut or broken and shattered. Their contents were nothing but soaked dust and rot. A few of them, however, revealed to be full of rusted, elongated objects in which I easily recognized the remains of assorted, all too familiar weapons, several rifles, submachine guns, and the like. They were, of course, far beyond an unusable state and only vaguely reminded me of their original shape. At the far end of the room on the middle desk, I spotted two open boxes which looked reasonably intact. One contained broken remains of some lab equipment, mostly made out of glass. The other only had empty rectangular slots which made a fine platter for the seaweed. Next to them stood the remains of a computer. Its fragile plastic chassis and components were mostly eaten away by the aggressive environment. Under the desk, sticking out of the sill, I found yet another key card. It was signed Dr. Foreman and had a few extra geometrical shapes engraved on the front. With nothing else left to do, we headed back to the room's entrance. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm just trying to think here. Okay. So let's move further up here, go through this, and this has got to be what this leads to, right? I was checking the guide to see if there's any other notable things I could see here. Yeah, okay, so let's just keep moving. This has got to be it. It's got to be it. I think we explored all the other rooms. Much to our surprise, the door easily slid all the way up, revealing a short corridor with smooth walls. When we moved in, the gate behind us closed, and water levels started to drop until we found ourselves standing on solid ground. I felt disoriented by the pressure shift and leaned on Naomi for support. Once the corridor was dry, the path ahead opened. What awaited us on the other side was far beyond my expectations. Whoa. It was mostly intact scientific lab. Despite all the damage it sustained during the initial disaster and following centuries of neglect, it appeared somewhat functional, if slightly rusted. Unlike most of the complex, it wasn't made of concrete slabs, but of sturdy metal panels of various shapes. Instead of being a single large chamber, the facility was separated into several smaller rooms, connected by a network of narrow corridors. The doors were all open, giving us free rein to explore. I left my scuba gear and flippers near the entrance. This is unimaginable. After so many years, it's still holding up. You think dragons made this? I can't be sure. We could have built it during one of the Great Wars, especially the first one, and then demolished it later on. Or maybe the opposing faction destroyed it somehow. It wouldn't explain how the whole complex ended up underwater, however. True, they could have just caused a cave-in rather than burying the whole area beneath the ocean. Come to think of it, I don't think we we even can accomplish something like that. It was possible in our world. Using the cracks in the planet's crust, a well-placed explosion, or several, could cause an earthquake and make a small island disappear. Which means your people could have done this. Not 1,000 years ago. We didn't even have electricity or running water back then, let alone the technology to travel between worlds. And yet the portal you've used to get to our world is clearly human in origin, while also predating our whole civilization. How is that possible then? Yeah, I'm completely lost on that one. Not just you. Alright, let's see if this place has anything of interest. Okay. So, I guess you could just explore all of them. You're supposed to, I think. Let's check on the power unit. Somehow the diagnostics console remained operational despite its ancient age. The same couldn't be said about most of substation's transformers, but they still provided enough power output to keep the lights on. Impressive. I didn't expect to find any complex electronics working. Color me surprised as well. From the main menu, I was able to access the current status of the remaining electric system, supplemented by schematics. As it turned out, we were just above the main generator chamber. The primary power source was labeled as extracted at an unspecified point in time. The backup generator was exhausted and barely provided 2% of its nominal power, yet the estimated shutdown time read over 100 years. Why steal one and leave the other one running? Good question. Maybe they couldn't disconnect it for some reason? Unlikely. Any sort of malfunction would have prevented it from lasting for centuries. I think they simply didn't have the time to do it. What are they running from? Who knows? It could have been enemies or something worse. I hope nothing horrible is lurking in the dark corners of this complex, like in one of those monster horror movies or games. Don't worry, I don't think anything could have survived for so long. You're right. Those cramped corridors are still giving me creeps, though. Alright. Explore the computer room. Most of the fragile electronics were obliterated long ago. Computers, terminals, and screens either crashed during the initial catastrophe or were slowly eaten by the corrosive environment. However, upon closer inspection, I spotted several workstations that appeared almost intact, save a few minor dents and cracks. Their chassis were made of polymers rather than metal, which at least preserved the exterior, including most of the captions. Each of the devices also had several cables going out of it with no clear indication of their purpose. Wonder if those still work. Doubt it. They might look alright, but on the inside they're probably all rubble. Only one way to find out. I pushed the power button on the furthest left workstation block. Nothing happened. What did you expect? We still have a few left to test. The next four were no better, which quickly demolished my hopes. I was almost ready to admit defeat when the fifth one started humming in response to my input. Seconds felt like minutes while I waited for the main screen to light up. Instead, the device suddenly produced a loud crack followed by clouds of thick black smoke coming from the chassis. Naomi shielded me from it with her wing and took a step back, pushing me along. Be careful, Prince. We are in enclosed space. What if something catches fire? We'll run out of breathable air in minutes. Good call. Yeah, so, here it says, if you say, but imagine the data we could find, that's -1 to her mood. Good call is +1. It's not worth putting her health or lives at risk. Alright, so let's search the storage area. More of a closet with several empty shelves bolted to the floor than a proper warehouse, the storage room contained a single metal box. It had no locks, but its top was completely fused shut due to sheer age. No matter how hard I tried, there was no way to open it with my bare hands. A lone container left behind in a place like this? It doesn't seem right. Even if it's a trap, I doubt it would work after so many years. I guess. Would you kindly help me out then? I hope it won't explode. Naomi took the box from my hands and tried to force the lid open with her claws, but it refused to budge. Fine, let's try another approach. Do we have one? Of course, watch this. Slowly she leaned down and spat out a thin stream of greenish liquid at the line of contact between container sides and its top. She repeated the same action for all four sides and gently set the box on the floor. Should take a few minutes for my venom to weaken the metal. Don't touch anything in the meantime, or you'll get chemical burns, through which toxins can get into your bloodstream. Whoa, hold it. Just how strong is your poison? Not very. With a sufficient amount or hitting the right spots, it can kill, but it's mainly used to paralyze the target. Right spots? Like the neck or head, especially of the smaller species similar to you in size. The venom would then go straight to the brain and quickly cause lethal damage. Alright then. I felt a cold chill run down my spine. I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. We've been getting along quite nicely. Look, I think the box is ready. Here goes nothing. The lid came off clean the moment the dragoness pulled at it, and revealed a large, elongated device, not unlike more advanced weapons some centuries used back on Earth before the flare hit us. What is this? Any ideas, Prince? A weapon. Pretty advanced, too, from what I can tell. Doesn't make sense, though. Why? We never use such gadgets, even during conflicts. Yet I can tell from the handle size alone that it's designed for a user much larger than I am. No human would be able to wield it reliably. How odd. Should we take it with us? It's too large and heavy for my belt bags. Alright. Check on the testing chamber. Behind the door frame labeled Test Chamber 01, we found a spacious room with empty shelves and broken screens lining up the walls. The central part was slightly elevated, making it into a round platform with multiple dents and scratch marks still visible through the rust. No idea what they were testing here, but these barrels go either in pairs or trios as far as I can tell. You know what that means? Claws. Precisely. So we might be dealing with a forgotten dragon facility after all, unless your kind also used similar weapons. Not to my knowledge. I wonder why they were attacking the metal slab though. Naomi stared at the floor for a time and then glanced at the ceiling. I've got nothing. Everything is too rusted and old to analyze properly. The stuff on the shelves didn't survive the test of time either. Nothing but trash there. Oh well. Alright, only thing left to do, investigate the workshop. Upon entering the room, we could only stare at the ruined machinery and heaps of scrap metal that once used to be tools and furniture. Whatever they were manufacturing here required some serious equipment. They also wanted to keep it close to the research for some reason. Curious. I wonder if they left behind any samples. Possibly. It doesn't look like anyone raided this facility. I crouched next to one of the rusty collapsed shelves and rummaged through the debris. My eyes caught a glimpse of something buried underneath. A container. Could you help me here? Yes? Pick up the shelf, please. There's something under it. Sure thing. Dragoness sat down on her rump and used both hands to effortlessly lift the steel frame, allowing me to pull the box free. Suddenly, a loud creak could be heard, followed by a loud crash when the shelf snapped in half. Losing the front support, Naomi swayed forward, planting her arms on the ground just in time to prevent the fall onto the sharp debris. Are you alright? She was panting heavily. It's all good, just caught off guard. What's inside the container? The top opened easily, revealing a badly decayed set of clothing with numerous metallic inserts. Looks like dragon body armor. It could probably fit me, if not for the condition it's in. I tried to extract it, but the fabric simply ripped at the slightest pull. Yup, it can't even support its own weight. Suddenly, the alarms went off, replacing the eerie silence with the deafening howl of sirens. Red lights flashed on the ceiling while the remains of the facility speakers tried to play some pre-recorded announcement, but only produced stuttering, gibberish, and static. With no other source of information, we dashed toward the power unit console, which also displayed warnings in large red letters, in contrast to its usual white and blue interface. Seawater detected in power generator chamber. Pumps offline. Error. Insufficient power. Be advised, prolonged generator exposure to the hostile environment might cause serious malfunctions or detonation. Please attend to fixing this issue at your earliest convenience. We have to get out of here, quick! Agreed. We rushed back to the entrance. I started putting on my scuba gear while Naomi pushed the button to get the airlock doors open, but they didn't move. This cursed thing won't work! No card riggers either. Hit it harder. Error. Hostile environment detected in the transit chamber. Pause. Outer door malfunction. Pumps online. Please wait. Damn, no way out. going to die. Naomi, come back! Yet she ignored my calls and ran off somewhere. I made my way to the diagnostics console and brought up the schematics. Finding the area in question wasn't hard, but what I saw there filled my mind with dread and despair. The airlock pumps were functioning reasonably well for their age, but same couldn't be said about the drainage system. In fact, it was gone completely, so seawater was dumped straight into the nearest unoccupied volume, which in turn was connected with the generator room below. The program estimated that I had about half an hour before generator rupture. I set the timer up on my PDA as well. Oh shit. Okay, we're not out of the woods yet. It says in the guide here, you must find the hatch to the generators, find Naomi, and extract the generator. The steps to this will be listed below. Okay. Okay, it's not really showing up properly on here. Hang on a minute. Good music, though. Okay, I got it. Step 1. Access the command console. Okay. Please enter command. Type in help to see available options. Be wary. Input is case sensitive. It's an actual CMD prompt. Wow. Okay, well, we see why this could not be dedicated DLC. Alright. Type in the command manual. I actually have to type it in my computer right now. Oh, I spelled it wrong. There we go. Okay, manual. Welcome to Power Management Tool V3.2, Software Manual. Please select the category you are interested in. Okay, and read through all the sections of the manual. After that, type the command exit. A new choice will appear to find the hatch. Read through all the sections of the manual, it says. Okay. Our company thanks you for choosing our software solution, Power Management Tool version 3.2, and hopes that it will be a reliable asset in handling your everyday management tasks. With a wide variety of features, it will certainly expand your capabilities and increase the productivity of your personnel. The main purpose of Power Management Tool version 3.2 is to provide a full, easy-to-understand, and useful toolset to work with your complex electronic systems, thus reducing maintenance downtimes and increasing the safety and security of your company. We are certain that you've made the right choice by using our products, and we hope for a continuous fruitful partnership in the future. Best regards, Data Corrupted. Please return to the main menu. Alright, main features. Diagnostics. Our software provides full and detailed reports about every node in your system. Any possible malfunctions are marked and their locations are revealed in an interactive 3D map. Area Scan is included in the base Power Management Tool version 3.2 installation service. Automatic repairs. Power Management Tool version 3.2 boasts extended functionality when it comes to handling errors and simple small malfunctions which don't require direct maintenance. Overview. Combined with the above options, Power Management Tool version 3.2 consistently monitors every attribute of every node of your system and provides full data on consumption, power transfer, losses, and time of uninterrupted operations. Control. Every section, every parameter, every setting can be adjusted or operated without leaving this terminal. Data collection and monthly reports. At the beginning of every calendar month, Power Management Tool version 3.2 will automatically send a full status report, malfunctions log, and total power consumption details by every node to the specified recipient. Optimization. Data Corrupted. Please return to the main menu. Okay, maintenance. Part 1. General Safety. In the event you have to perform manual maintenance of your hardware, please keep your specialized safety equipment on at all times. Your work clothing must be completely dry, clear of any flammable substances, and you have no loose fabric hanging. Failure to comply with any of the above requirements must result in maintenance access rights being immediately revoked. Please make sure that installation on your equipment has not been breached, cracked, or otherwise damaged before you start your work. Part 2. Shutdown Procedure. Before going down the hatch and performing any operations, make sure that the main power unit has been turned off. That's certainly not a problem when the main generator is already stolen. Suddenly a realization hit me. Of course there had to be an easy way to access the chamber below. Now I just needed to find the hatch, but I decided to continue reading the manual to make sure I didn't miss any important details. The auxiliary power unit can be safely extracted after flipping the switch next to the connector. Otherwise, magnetic locks will prevent their removal. There were several more pages about every type of maintenance one could perform, but none had any information useful to me. Okay, so now we gotta check for emergency situations and accidents. In the event of an emergency or serious accident which resulted in injury or death of your personnel, please contact local authorities immediately. First aid instruction can be found data corrupted. All evacuation exits are marked with special glow-in-the-dark signs you should be able to see clearly regardless of power blackouts, smoke, or other visual obstruction. During a disaster, door locks might enter a state of complete lockdown and thus, in some conditions, endangering your life. To override the lockdown, hold the open button for 5 seconds, then quickly tap it 3 times to confirm your command. Be careful, as it will send the open signal regardless of environmental conditions on the other side. Use with caution. Data corrupted. Please return to the main menu. Okay, now we should be able to exit. Type the command exit. Shutting down. Okay, so it says a new choice will appear to find the hatch. Find the hatch. The hatch is located in a random room. Check each room until you find the hatch's location. Found nothing of interest. Well, it didn't, It didn't open up for me, unless I have to go through all these first. Fuck me. Oh shit, it's past midnight too. God dang, I've been at this for a while, huh? Okay, so do I have to search through these areas? Oh shit, I found Naomi. Suddenly I spotted Naomi, barely visible in the dark corner she chose as her hiding spot. She had coiled up and hidden her head under a wing. Hearing my footsteps, she jerked up and slowly faced me. Okay, when Naomi is found, it says, "Are you alright? Why did you run off?" That gives a +1 to mood. Stop playing around like a log, you can cry later is -2 to mood, -2 to romance. And the modder's comment is, "Are you serious?" Alright, are you alright? Why did you run off? Yeah, I'm curious, why did she run off? Scared, I'm guessing? Because I'm the one responsible for this mess, and I couldn't bear seeing you your fear and despair, which I am to blame for. I should have shot down the idea of entering this complex from the very beginning. I was so foolish of me to risk our safety to explore this damned husk, but I was confident I could keep us safe no matter what. I thought I was strong and skillful enough. I was such an idiot. Now look where this got us. The whole thing is about to blow up, and we're trapped for good. I don't want it to end like this. I'm so scared. We'll find our way out, I promise. Don't give up yet, Naomi. But what can we do? There has to be a solution. We just need to figure it out. It's hard to see what we can do. The door is jammed, the generator's about to blow up, and we have no way to escape. To make it worse, even if we had one, the blast radius is likely going to be way too big anyway and kill us before we can get to safety. This is all my fault. I'm going to die here and take you with me, Prince. I love the modder's comments in this. Or not the modder, the guide maker's comments in this, rather. So if you pick, you should have assessed the situation better. It's a -2 to mood and -1 to romance, and the comment says, I genuinely feel bad for you if you chose this for a reason other than curiosity. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. Alright, so just say I knew the risk. I mean, I didn't. I know the risk. I knew it from the get-go, so that's what I would have chosen. I knew the risks. Or rather, I knew that I'm entering an unknown territory where anything can happen. You shouldn't blame yourself for everything. I'm just responsible for our predicament, if not more so. I was so curious to see what's inside this ancient complex, I rushed in with little consideration for possible dangers. I guess. But I could have stopped you. Remember, you have no authority to order me. Only to give advice. This whole disaster of an exploration was my idea, and as such, I take full responsibility. But now, it's less about whom to blame and more about what to do about it. What can we do? We're screwed. Yeah, it says the guide maker's comment is real optimistic, eh? That's -2 to mood if you pick we're screwed. We have to try no matter what is a +1 to mood, or it's going to be alright is a +2 to mood. It's gonna be alright. We will find our way out, I promise. How? Everything's in ruins and we're trapped. The solution is right under our noses. We only need to find it. Easy to say. The situation might look grim, but it's not a reason to sit down and surrender to our fate. So what do you suggest? Do you have a plan? How about we prevent the explosion altogether? How? We're powerless to stop it. I wouldn't be so certain yet. These systems are ancient, but some of them still function. Seems like you have an idea. Oh shit. Wow, this is interesting. So listen to this. Naomi asked you about your plan to stop the generator from exploding. This dialogue option will not be available if Naomi's mood counter is below 0. She will tell you to go away. This may result in guaranteed failure, requiring you to restart from the 30-minute mark. Find the hatch, find Naomi, and try to stop the generator again. That is, unless you find the location of the hatch. If you find the hatch, you will have an option to go back to Naomi and tell her that she is your only hope in stopping the explosion. She will reluctantly follow you. Wow. So she doesn't even trust you at all, if that's the case. Damn. Yes, and I can only do it with your help. That is a +2 to mood and +1 to romance. That's what we want to go with. Wow. Some of these choices, man. It's funny. It says, okay, so this option is only available if your romance counter is above 2. I extended my hand and caught her eyes. Come, Naomi, let's do this and get out of here. After short deliberation, she reached out to me. Okay, I'm with you, Prince. We found nothing of interest. Okay. Alright, well, nothing of interest in this room. Anyway. So I just need to check the other rooms. Right? Snuggle up with Naomi and surrender to your fate. What? Wow. I can't believe that's an option. Yeah, no shit, it's guaranteed failure. If you pick this option, choosing this results in guaranteed failure, requiring you to restart from the 30-minute mark, find the hatch, find Naomi, and try to stop the generator again. If you picked go to the hatch location, open the hatch, and disable the generator. Okay. So what areas have we not been in yet? So this is the only one you're supposed to do. Go to the hatch location, open the hatch, and disable the generator. Where is the damn generator? I don't remember what rooms I've checked yet, so let's just check them all. Computer room. Nothing of interest. Okay. Go to corridors. Okay, what about the storage room? Oh my god, you're killing me here, game. About the workshop. Nothing of interest. Fuck. Fuck me. This game's killing me. I think this is the only one I haven't. On my way to it, I noticed a faded yellow sign near entrance. What? Faded yellow sign. I searched every room. There's something I'm missing. What am I missing? Hatch is located in a random room. Check each room until you find the hatch's location. I searched every room though. Of which explored 60%. 95%. Press and hold a button, maybe? %. What's the last 5%? What the hell? This game's killing me. What? So wait a minute. Location testing room. I'm very confused. That literally does nothing. Except waste your time. Fuck me. I don't understand. How do you get the of which explored percentage to go up? Oh, so in each room, you just have to keep searching multiple times. 100%. Okay. Now I understand that. Now I understand. Oh, fuck me, man. We already been to the... Oh, you're gonna make me do this again, aren't you? We're already been here. 100% on this. What about workshop? 30, okay, it's gotta be here. Gotta be here. Fuck. Bro, like how? Literally how? Yeah, I understand how it works now. Corridors. I was confused by that, by like how the system works, but I get it now. No, I didn't mean to hit that. I want to get everything to 100%. Okay, alright. This seems promising, right? 0%. Keep searching. Keep searching. Keep searching. Suddenly, yes! Okay, that's probably your clue. The yellow sign. Suddenly I spotted an indentation on the floor next to a pile of rubble. Upon closer inspection, I found out that it was a hatch of some sort, mostly buried under the heavy debris which rendered it unusable. What is this? Generator room access. From there I'll be able to extract the secondary power source and hopefully prevent the explosion. It's too small for me. Yeah, I'll have to do it alone. She leaned in and quickly flicked her tongue over my cheek. Aw. Be safe, Prince. Naomi made short work of the rusty metal debris and, after a brief struggle, ripped the hatch open, breaking off the hinges along the way. Oops. Well, you sure got the job done. Okay, access the hatch, yes. No, that's it, man, it's over. Just snuggle up with her and surrender to the fate. Jeez. Access the hatch. I looked down the hole in the floor and spotted a long metal ladder going far below. Surviving lights provided dim, reddish illumination. The steps themselves were rusty but held my weight easily, allowing me to make my way down without any delays. Past a short yet wide tunnel, I saw a large chamber full of broken and decayed electronic devices. The waist-deep water greatly slowed down my movement as I traveled forward. Soon I spotted two large slots on the wall to my left. One was empty, but the other held a rounded metallic object, about the size of a watermelon, the backup generator. I rushed towards it. With a single flip of a switch, the whole generator slid out of its slot and tilted towards me, ready for taking. Lights around me flickered for a moment. Emergency batter. Emergency batter. Yes, emergency batter. Don't forget that emergency batter. Sorry guys, it's like 12:30 a.m. I'm tired. Emergency battery unit activated. Pumps offline. Warning. Complete electric grid shutdown imminent. We better hurry while we can still see where we are going. I grabbed the power unit with both hands. It was much lighter than one would expect. My way back up took a few minutes. Alright, we should be free to leave now. Great job! First let me pack up the generator in several watertight plastic bags. What for? Do you want to take it? The moment we open that entrance door, water will rush in. Connected or not, this device is too unstable to let it come in contact with liquids. Good catch, I didn't think of that. And it may sound risky to you, but what? I do want to take it with us, otherwise it will become a time bomb. Okay, so... it says once the generator is out, Naomi says she wants to... Okay, that's a typo, that's why I can't read this. It says Naomi says she wants to the generator with her, otherwise it could explode. That's just a typo. Agreed is a +5 to mood. And I disagree is a -3 to mood. And by the way, judging by this, it looks like we're definitely not going to be getting the worst ending. So I'm already doing massively better than my first playthrough of this, which is good. I'm actually on path for the 2 best endings if I hit agree, and a couple of the bad endings for disagree. So this actually will determine a large part of the fate of the playthrough. So agreed. Somebody could get hurt because of this thing. Yeah, it's also our fault it became dangerous in the first place. Besides, I'm sure your researchers might find it interesting, given its age. True. I'll carry it. Get some rest? What the hell? Now is not a good time for rest, but you snuggle up with her, it looks like. If you choose get some rest, romance goes up by +1, so that's just the romance option. Alright. Alright, let's get some rest. Mind if we settle down here somewhere for a time? Sure thing, I could use a breather as well. Yeah, I guess we don't really have to hurry anymore, there's no imminent threat anyway, right? She sat down in a relatively clean corner of the room and beckoned me to come over. I reluctantly made my way to her. I sat down nearby and leaned onto her side. Her large wings slowly unfolded and relaxed. I don't know about you guys, but I would not be in the mood to be having some cuddle time right now. I'd be wanting to get the hell out of there, but that's just me. Her large wings slowly unfolded and relaxed, covering me akin to a large, warm cloak. I felt her tremble slightly, probably due to recent stress, but her features didn't falter when I looked up at her face. For minutes, feeling like an eternity, we stayed close together. After a hectic day, neither of us were willing to break the silence. Eventually, I felt that both Naomi and I calmed down enough. I think we should get going. Yeah, we still need to make our way back to the shore, and it's going to take a while. Okay, so it says, if you choose go to the corridors, check on the door, put on your scuba gear, and open the door by entering these responses in this order. Press and hold a button, press a button, press a button, press a button. Okay. A lot of press a buttons. Alright. At least now we're not timed anymore, right? Go to the corridors. Check on the entrance. Put on the scuba gear. Are you sure it will slow down certain actions on land? Yes. Quickly as possible, I equip my flippers and air tanks. Okay. Press and hold the button. Press the button. Error. Hostile environment detected on the transit chamber. Pause. Outer door malfunction. Pumps offline. Please remain calm for the rescue team to arrive. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be coming. So let's press the button again. Error. Hostile environment detected in the transit chamber. Pause. Outer door malfunction. Pumps offline. Please remain calm and wait for the rescue team to arrive. Press a button. Error. Hostile environment detected in the transit chamber. Pause. Outer door malfunction. Pumps offline. Please remain calm and wait for the rescue team to arrive. Suddenly, the door opened, unleashing a flood of seawater, yet I was prepared for it. Carefully, we made our way back to the exit, mindful of the dangerous cargo Naomi carried. Do we have to make our way back through the maze? No, we don't. Okay, so it just takes us right back. Okay. Well, we got out of there. Good stuff. Now I'm ready for some cuddles once we get back on land. Wow. Crazy, man. That was crazy. I'm glad I went through that, though. Wow. That took a lot longer than I had anticipated. Eventually, we were back on the surface. The sun had long passed its zenith, but was still a few hours away from setting. I took off the breathing mask and inhaled deeply. That was one crazy adventure. I suggest we don't do that again anytime soon. For better or worse, I doubt we'd get the chance, to be honest. But at least we managed to prevent the disaster, and I'm happy about it. What now? I'd say we swim back to shore and get some good rest. Mind hauling me? I don't think I can make it otherwise. Wow. Of course, climb onto my back. That sounds quite personal. It's fine, Prince. You need rest. Soon we were back on the beach, the very same spot we left hours earlier. We slowly walked up to the line of bushes separating sand from thick vegetation. I found my daily clothes still neatly piled in the shade, but had no strength left to change into them. My remaining resolve was barely strong enough to take off the air tanks, mask, and flippers. We both dropped onto the sand in exhaustion without a word, happy to finally feel dry land. I didn't even notice falling asleep. Wow, that's beautiful though. When I woke up hours later, the sun was about to set. Naomi was still happily snoring nearby, her limbs sprawled freely, as if trying to occupy as much surface as physically possible. The bag with the ancient generator had been safely stuffed into the nearby bush. With my mind foggy from the unexpected nap, I stood up and changed back to my daily clothing, relieved to be no longer packed into a skin-tight wetsuit. A quiet yawn from behind got my attention. Naomi got back on all fours and stretched slowly, not unlike an oversized cat. What time is it? I'm not sure, but it's late, and I better return to my apartment before dark. Yeah, Bryce was rather clear about that. We sure had some adventure today. We got ourselves a generator. What are you going to do with it? Our engineers at the production facility will be happy to get their hands on some ancient tech. Who knows what long-lost secrets it might hold. Tell them to be very careful. Of course, they know how to safely handle faulty devices. It might be different from your normal designs, not to mention the centuries of neglect that survived. Maybe I should tell them to disarm it here, away from populated areas, before taking it in for analysis. Good call. I'm really sorry for snapping and running away like a hatchling. I don't know what came over me. It was some weird animal fear, one I never experienced in my life. It's alright, I was scared too, we both were. But you remain level-headed no matter the circumstances. Even in the direst situation, you never forgot about others. Especially about me. Thank you for everything, Prince. Thank you too, Naomi. We could have never made it without your skills and strength. I gently laid my hand on her upper chest. She smiled and returned the gesture, but accidentally pushed me back. I staggered, barely able to keep my balance. She looked scared for a moment until I started laughing, and so did she. The dragoness scooped me up with both arms and sat onto her rump, easily lifting me off the ground and pressing me against her soft underbelly scales. Whoa! Couldn't resist, you're way too cuddly. She quickly put me back down. I promise you won't have to worry about endangering your life during our next meeting. You planned it out already? Way in advance. Give me a call in a few days and I'll arrange the remaining details. Wow. Looks like I have some free time today. No I don't. Wow, man. Crazy. Absolutely wild. But yeah. So again, hopefully this recording went over smoothly. I'll have to check, and if it did, well, you'll know because it'll be publicly uploaded. And that'll mean great news for potential future playthroughs. Because it means that even if I don't get like a new super fancy high-end computer early next year, I can still at least do some, indie game playthroughs like this for the Year of the Dragon. Like I said, there's definitely a couple indie games that I absolutely want to check out for next year for the channel. And I've heard nothing but praise about the games, so I definitely want to check them out. And they're only on PC, so it's my only option. Alright, so with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this little bonus episode of sorts for Angels with Scaly Wings. Yes, I'm still in love with this game, in case you can't tell. But that being said, thank you guys for watching, and catch you guys later. Peace.